Everyone knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
You hear that sound? You know one thing, the final word is back. Welcome to the final word phone-in with me, Majestic, alongside the legendary Premier League manager, the gaffer. He's back as well, Alan Pardew. And the big boys were back today in the Community Shield as Arsenal dispatched of Manchester City 3-0. Arsenal fans and the rest of the Premier League are Arsenal the team to beat this season. And City fans, is that a big red flag as Enzo Maresca's first game ends in a big defeat? Or is it just minutes in the legs? Later in the show, we're talking about two of Pard's old clubs, as Southampton and West Ham, got their championship seasons off to the start, and it wasn't the start that they wanted. Phone lines are open, 03 717 22 3344 to air your views to the nation on the final word phone in here on talkSPORT. And that's right, football's back. Imagine Pards are back. It's Sunday. How are you, Pards? Good to see you, mate.
Well, it's good to be back, mate, because, you know, we like to think that this is where we sum up the weekend's entertainment and put some kind of sense and stability on what's gone on.
With less feeling and emotion and more reaction and facts.
Well, hopefully with some foundations.
Yeah. And some expert analysis from your good self.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And some street level banter from yourself.
And the fans questions. I like to think I'm like a voice of the fans, asking you, the experts.
Well,
you know,
what you do very well is you get them in the right place. We get the question, we resolve what they're on about, and then we try and come up with what we think is a logical conclusion.
Absolutely,
which is not always what works, but we tried to get there.
So if you are listening for the very first time or watching us, of course, because you can watch us on YouTube in HD, Imagine Pards, we're here every Sunday throughout your season, reacting to all the big moments from the weekend, and of course, the big moment today is the Charity Shield, the Community Shield, as it's now known, that we will be talking about in a moment's time. Pards, had Sean Dyche in last week.
Yes.
Good to see Dyche.
Gravel voice.
He did the ladies like the gravel voice. A lot of compliments.
Well, he's getting some work, you know. Oh, like he keeps popping up on ads. I mean, I'm a little bit jealous because obviously I'm Uber Eats superstar. He might, you know, they might draft him in and bomb me out.
He might start doing movie trailers.
Well, he's doing everything at the moment. I mean, you know.
Well, Jurassic Park 3's out next week.
If you want credit at the moment, go to Daishi. He seems to be laying it out left, right, and centre with cards and, you know, stuff and whatever he's doing.
He's coming to Ibiza in a couple of weeks. I said I'll meet up for lunch with him. Are you coming to Ibiza?
Well, I do happen to have a friend who's having a birthday in Ibiza.
Oh, here we
He's
go.
Invited me, and I think we got crossover dates.
Madge, Pards and Dyche in Ibiza. That's got to happen.
It's a gig, mate.
It really is.
It's a gig.
Speaking of gigs as well, there's lots of festivals going on this weekend, including a massive one, Boomtown.
Boomtown.
Yeah,
Winchester.
Boomtown.
What a lovely city Winchester is.
Oh, and what an incredible festival. This festival, it shouldn't be called Boomtown. It should be called Boom City. It's huge.
Really?
Yeah, I was there on Friday. So dusty. I had a dust mask on. But it brings us in nicely because, of course, with the coming together of the start of the football season, it's right peak festival season as well.
It is.
So today on the show, we're going to be asking you about your first ever festival that you went to as well. What's the first festival you ever went to, Pards?
It's a good, easy one to answer for me because I haven't been to one.
What?
It sort of bypassed my era, I think.
Right, we need to remedy that. And I'm going to tell you about my first festival later on because there's some synergy between me and you on that one. But let's talk about the football because the football is back. The first competitive... What's the first competitive game of the top tier of English football?
Always traditionally a strange game.
Yeah.
Where usually there's an unexpected result. One team's poor, the other team is impressive. And we got one of those today. Manchester City were miles away from the intensity that Arsenal showed. And that was reflected in the scoreline.
And the thing is, what we love about this show... Oh, someone's at my door. 03717... Yeah.
It's Uber Eats.
It's not a mistake. 03717 22344. What we love about this show is you guys, because you have your say. And we got two Arsenal fans ready. Do you want to go...
They're on the way back, I guess, are they? Maybe.
Do you want to speak to Gabby or Eddie first?
Let's go, Gabby.
Let's speak to Gabby. How are you, Gabby?
Red moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Arsenal's moon.
I can tell you're happy, mate.
It's a festival.
I've took the good lady, and she has a secret crush on Haaland, and I said, he's not getting them apples today, Maj. He's not getting them apples today.
Nothing at all, mate. An absolute dominance of Manchester City. Has the tide turned in the Arsenal-Man City battle? Is it now Arteta? Now, especially now Pep's gone as well. Do you think Arsenal are going to dominate for the next couple of years?
Maj, Alan, I'm not going to be over gloatful because it was start and what have you, but you've got to take it. As I said on Friday night at Max and Carl, I will take a 1-0 Bruno Guimaraes 95th minute winner. We didn't even need that, mate. We didn't even need to give Bruno 90 minutes. We didn't even need to give Declan minutes. It was just absolutely like, lads, in a way, they play like that for the whole season. They're just going to wipe the floor of everybody. It's going to be a crazy season, but it's having that continuity, and we kind of was there first half of the season, and then second half we closed shop. But I think we're going to be more expansive this year. I think you're going to see.
Let's hope so.
Bruno and Miles, I tell you what, they look mustard today in the middle of the park. I thought, wow, it's a Man City, like my best mate for Chelsea, as I've told you guys before. He can't stand Maresca. He said he'll fold like a deck chair. And today was the first folding of that deck chair, lad. So I've got the towel on it and everything.
Listen, do you think...
These songs, he's deck chairing.
Gabs, do you think, for example, we might see what we saw with Manchester United post Sir Alex Ferguson? Because Pep leaving, Pards...
It's a big get.
It's huge, isn't it? And I know there's a better squad than what Sir Alex Ferguson left at Manchester United.
Yeah,
but
you could argue that.
Get the tune out of those players.
Well, let's be honest, right? In the modern game, you've got about 14 analysts who can work out your game plan and show you the weaknesses of the opposition. That ain't managing in the Premier League. The Premier League is all about the manager touching players, getting into their heads, making sure that he manages the whole squad, That's a real skill. Pep was brilliant at that.
And I think, and I've got to give him his credit, I think Arteta's become very good at that. I think Arteta
better, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I've said it before on this show time and time again. I have watched Arteta as a manager grow over the last 5 years from being an over-emotional manager on the sideline, that, you know, his reaction to things,
involved in games.
Correct.
Yeah.
To this version that we see now, which is actually quite scary because they are a force, Arsenal. They're a unit that have already, you know, established themselves, and then they go and put someone like Bruno in to that. They are strengthening while they're at the top.
Outstanding signing because, you know, for me...
I also think that's probably a better signing for Arsenal than what Vinny Jr. would have been.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but what you have got is a player who knows the Premier League, is top end of Premier League in terms of a creative midfield player, and he can dig in when needed.
I mean, joining into that unit and become one, because Arsenal, unfortunately to say, is a bit of a machine now. And what Arteta wants is people part of that machine.
There's one word used earlier that you was talking about when you was talking about Arsenal and you're gloating about them a little bit. Continuity, right? Well, all the other clubs haven't got that, have they?
Yeah,
They've all got new managers.
That is massive.
That is going to be a really big plus for Arteta this year. I wouldn't say he's got a free run at it. I don't think he has. It's always difficult to win the Premier League, especially back-to-back.
Yeah.
And Arsenal are going to try and do that. So... it's going to be a tough season, but at the moment you have to say, wow, they look head and shoulders at the moment.
Let's go to Eddie, who's an Arsenal fan, get his opinion as well. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, listen, we're glad that, you know, the football's coming back. We've had some good EFL games today, and obviously Arsenal, Manchester City, a dominant performance from Arsenal.
Yeah, very, very. Like the first half, it reminded me of like when Pep had his first like 4 or 5 years at Manchester City, how they used to dominate Arsenal for the whole 90 minutes. Like, it reminded me a bit of that in reverse, obviously. But obviously second half set up shop. But the player that I want to give much praise to is Martin Odegaard, because obviously the past 2 years he hasn't really had like the best run of form, which I partly blame Arteta's system, because I believe Arteta, when he plays more defensively, Odegaard plays more as an 8 than a 10. And when Arsenal play more with the handbrake off, you can see Odegaard has much more creativity about him, especially in the final third.
Oh, absolutely.
So I always said with Odegaard that it depends on the system you play. If you play more defensively, he's not going to be able to create from collecting the ball from deep from our half.
Well, Eddie, just to jump in there, we saw Odegaard in the World Cup absolutely dominating in that position in the 10. He's a superb number 10. But that's and that's another thing that I'm going to give Arteta the credit for, to get those players to sign up to go, listen, when it's a bit backs against the wall, you're going to drop a little bit deeper, and this is how we're going to play in the system. As I said before, you know, we saw a bit of a change in style with Arsenal over the last sort of 18 months. And I actually credited Arteta for doing that, because, you know, people said that Arsenal was soft and had no backbone. You went and done it. You won the league. However you won it. And as I said, over the last 3 years, Arsenal deserved to win a title. And I say that as a Spurs fan. Arteta's got it right. He got those players. And what Pard said was brilliant, Ed, is a manager needs to get players to buy into them as a manager and their systems.
I agree.
And Arteta's done that fantastically, Pard.
Well, he has.
What I give Arteta credit for as well. Sorry, Pard.
That's all right.
What I give Arteta credit for also is the fact that he does like to change and tweak his system every season. Like the first couple of years, I think the first year we were challenging for the title, it was more free flowing, and obviously Odegaard and Martinelli was getting more goals and assists in that season. But then obviously he tweaked it because he believed that we didn't maybe have the attacking prowess to blow teams away. So he made our team more disciplined, more defensive. But I think this season is going to be a bit more expansive this year because of the unknowns of the rest of the teams in the top six that all have new managers.
Correct.
Like Pardew said, it's unknown for it's the unknown for the Chelseas and the Manchester Cities, the Liverpools, even Spurs. So literally this year, I think Arsenal personally, I've never been so confident that Arsenal will win the league maybe I won't say a canter, but I believe that we, as currently constructed, Arsenal will win the league. Personally, I believe Arsenal will. If Arsenal want to win the Champions League, we need a world-class left winger. We don't need a world-class left winger to win the Premier League because we didn't have one last year. We still won the league. So.
The only thing I would say on that, Ed, is just, you know, and again, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be feeling that confidence as well. But watching Liverpool last year, what they bought in the market, we fought Liverpool, and the first 4 or 5 games we fought, and they didn't play well. We was like, that's what champions do. That's how champions win. And we saw it. Great call, Ed. Brilliant stuff. That's one thing I'd be.
Eddie, very confident.
Yeah, but
I mean, you know,
coming away from beating Man City 3-0 in the final, you're going to feel confident.
Yeah, and let me just tell you about the psychological change that there's been at Arsenal, because if we go back to about 2-3 months before the end of the season, everyone was, you know, every Arsenal fan that we had on, Madge, was all going, oh, I'm a little bit nervous, not sure. You know, I think we're going to do it, but, you know, we're not playing well, we're nicking results. But, of course, when you've won it, it's a different confidence, right? It's a different thing. And those players have all got the gold medal in the locker. And now they've brought in a top midfield player to add to that, and maybe another big star to come as well. And I think that's where the key is. Who is this next player going to be for Arsenal? Because he could take them to a level that Eddie was maybe talking about, where they win the league with a bit to spare.
Yeah.
At the moment, I still think, you know, as you said, with the Liverpool hoodoo last year, what happened to them? The jury's way out on a Charity Shield performance, but they've come back. They look mentally strong. They were much more at it today than Manchester City. Manchester City looked like they looked at the game as if we just use it. You know, we have to get through this. It's probably not where our focus is, and Arsenal were the complete opposite, and it showed.
Well, one of my best mates is on the way back from Cardiff, actually. Big shout to Liam Piggott. Big Arsenal fan. I had to grow up like this being my best mate, watching Arsenal win loads of stuff. That's why I can admit when Arsenal are good.
Did it? You know, when he talks about it, does he got a little smirk on his face?
No, he's
all right. He even hides the smirk, does he?
Yeah, he hides a smirk just
well
for
done,
me.
Liam. We're good lad.
But he's on the way home from Cardiff. He's just watched Arsenal beat Manchester City 3-0 in the Community Shield. He's with the Charles family, so very good evening to you guys. Thank you for listening. Arsenal fans, are you getting as excited as Eddie about the new season? Could you win the league, as Eddie said, at a canter? And Man City supporters, are you worried about the performance and the result? Call us on 03717 223344. We'll hear from you next on The Final Word with Madge and Pards here on talkSPORT.
Gabby Bungler, who joined myself and Drive on Monday, I asked him if he thought Arsenal are to win the league.
Yeah, I do, yeah. I think it's done, mate.
Do you?
Yeah.
What, you think it's over?
Yeah, it's over, mate.
Really?
Yeah. That's strong, man. They went and brought in Guimaraes as well, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I hear you, all right, and I probably don't want to admit it yet.
Yeah.
We ain't even kicked a ball.
I know,
They're
mate.
the only settled football club in the league.
Exactly.
Right? That's what they've got going for it. What do you make of that? Do you feel like, look, you're an Arsenal fan? They had a great season last season.
Yeah.
Are they're the team to beat?
I think of course they're the Premier League champions. They're the favourites, but I wouldn't sit here today, no chance, and say, it's ours easy. No way whatsoever, because there's so many factors last season. I mean, Arsenal finally got over the line. They played a productive way that maybe for some people, I didn't actually mind it. I quite enjoyed watching it, but there were some people that said that they stunk the place out in terms of the way that they played the game, but they did what they needed to get over the line.
Well, they did stink the place out.
Well, no, you didn't.
Well, they did.
How?
Well, they stunk the Premier League
You
out.
can't stink it out and win it.
No, you can.
No, you can stink it out and finish fourth bottom. Hey, I'll tell you that. You can do that.
You did stink it out.
No,
Like, you brought the level of fun down in the Premier League.
For a Gooner, it wasn't.
Oh, come on. It was turgid, some of the
Listen,
football.
I loved it, right?
Did you really? You'd hate to play in that team.
No, I wouldn't. What, Premier League winners medal? I wouldn't.
You want to
Jake,
see a bit more
no,
exciting
people-
football.
people say this,
like, come on, you've won it now.
All right, we've won-
Arteta's won it.
People
Play
say-
a bit more exciting
No,
stuff.
people say that, right? Arsenal still scored 71 goals in the league last year. Only Man City scored more.
inside the first 30 seconds of the Community Shield. Solis back across the face of goal. Havertz is there. Robber can't keep it out. And Arsenal lead by 2 goals to 0. Solis edge of the area, feeds it into Erdogan. Great touch, chance to make it 3. Easily strokes it into the net. It's a wonderful Arsenal move. Enzo Maresca's team are being blown away in Cardiff, and Arsenal are making a statement. They lead by 3 goals to 0.
And that's how it sounded here on talkSPORT. Arsenal 3, Manchester City 0 on the first domestic honours of the season. Listen, Pards, to win anything in football, actually, what's that? It's a funky old pen you got.
This was a gift that come through the post from our beloved caller Jill.
Show the camera. Which
look
camera?
at this. Look, and you got wait.
Oh!
Steady, mate. Steady. Yeah, it pops out the top. Yeah, that's nice of her, isn't it? So I should be writing down all my facts and figures here. Make sure I get it correct with this lovely pen.
I like that.
Jill.
Well, thank you very much, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Feel free.
I think she'll give you one too.
Feel free to send us gifts. Arsenal 3, Manchester City 0. City fans, we want to hear from you. Is it worrying to see that performance, or is it just minutes in the leg? You know, Maresca's team there. I'd like to hear from Chelsea fans today about their feelings on Maresca, what they made of his tenure at Chelsea.
I can tell you,
John,
they're not great lovers of him.
Really?
No, they weren't lovers of him before he actually walked out on them, and I don't think that opinion's changed with the fact that he's now arrived at Man City and Alonso, with the experienced signings that he brought in. I think it's a good sign, though.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea fans are looking forward to
listen, I think Chelsea could be a bit of a, not a surprise package, because their team's great and they've got a good manager there. The only thing I would say is what we saw him do in the Bundesliga, this isn't the Bundesliga, this is the Premier League. And you're someone who's managed in Europe, etc., right?
Yeah, but remember, he wasn't Bayer Leverkusen wasn't a top.
I know. I'm aware of that.
German club. He took them from mid-table.
I know.
You know, it's like Crystal Palace winning the league.
Yeah, I understand that. But I think that the Premier League now, in terms of people being able to beat one another.
I'll tell you why I like Alonso, right? Forget about the way he sets his team up, because I think it's a very positive way he sets his team up.
Absolutely.
I think as a person, I think he's good. He looks good to me. He looks like he could keep everybody at me. He's got that kind of way about him.
100%.
I can't imagine you can fall out with him. You know, like, you can fall out with me. I'll tell you, if when I was manager, people who fell out with me, I would be like, I'm not having it. But I reckon he would let it go a little bit, might be a little bit more delicate around it all.
Be interesting to see. So as I mentioned, Arsenal 3, Manchester City 0 in Cardiff. Let's go to Adam. He was at the game today. How are you, Adam?
How you doing, lads?
Yeah, very well indeed. It's always nice to walk away with silverware, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Early on as well. Spot on. Yeah, a lot of good things to talk about today. I want to say as well, there was a couple of the introduction of Deckers and Saka. I was actually surprised at, and I think it's a bit of a statement from Mikel to kind of say that the boys are raring to go, because obviously we saw at the end of last season Deckers and Saka were on their last legs basically, and through the World Cup we pretty much saw that as well. And yeah, obviously we're a few days away now from the Prem next Friday, but I think it's a big statement to show that the boys are ready to go.
The depth of Arsenal's squad now, Pards, it's like up there.
Of course. And as I say, I still think there'd be a big addition to come in there, offensive player. Going back to Saka quickly, I think Saka is really kind of hungry this year, because the World Cup, massive disappointment for him. I think he was injured at the start, and he come on the substitute bench, and he's only getting 10 minutes. Hard to impress. I think he must be seriously frustrated about the quarter-final and the semi-final when he didn't get a look in, when I think he was probably fit and ready, raring to go. So I think Saka for Arsenal is in a great place. I think he could be back to his very, very best.
Adam, here's a question for you as an Arsenal fan, mate, right? If you don't win the league this year, is it a bad season?
Depends how other trophies go. I must admit, mate, I'm a big champion. I want to get the Champions League over and done with, to be honest.
Yeah, because that in terms of the big clubs like Liverpool and United and the Chelseas of this world, that's Spurs. The stick. Listen, Spurs can't say nothing. We haven't won a Champions League. But that's the stick that they beat you with, right? And Arsenal are a massive club, but to not have that trophy is one that is really missing from your.
But PSG had it and have won it back to back.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that has to get across.
We go to Forest away, and and they're singing "Champions of Europe." You never sing that. We got to change that.
Yeah.
We got to change that. But
That's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? When you're getting that from going to like Forest and Villa, etc. Because they've got the biggest. They've got that trophy.
Yeah. But we get it. What I will say, boys, is after today as well, however great of a manager Arteta now is and what he's learned and he's grown and he's been amazing, if for some reason we let Lewis Skelly somehow leave this club, unforgivable.
Yeah.
It's a great point. It's a really good point there, Ad.
I agree on that. He loves the football club, doesn't he? I think that's well documented, the kid. And it seems like in the background they've kind of gone, look, this boy is available. You don't get smoke, there's no smoke without fire. So there has been some conversations around him, but he just looks a terrific asset, doesn't he? We know he can play at fullback. He can slip into midfield. He looked, that first moment of the game where he does the drag back and the pass was absolutely different class. Brilliant. So I was really pleased for him today. It was an important game for him.
Yeah, definitely. We had Lewis's mum on a show I did on talkSPORT once. Wonderful woman.
Really?
Yeah, she works in football. She founded the Number One Fan Club, an organisation that helps educate families with kids that come in through.
Oh, how lovely!
The system like she experienced. Wonderful woman. And again, like I said, he loves Arsenal. Surely that's what you want in your club. You want the DNA.
The one of the reasons he probably is available, and I say that reluctantly because I'm sure Arsenal board don't want me to talk about that, but Anderson leaving Newcastle was because, of course, it all generates profit. He's a young player, come through the system. So that if they sell him for 40 million, for example, it's all, it comes off the bottom line. So that's why those young players, unfortunately, are being moved around. We've seen it at Chelsea, and they've made deals here and there. Anderson being the standout player that had to leave Newcastle right on deadline day because they looked like they was over the limit, and now he goes back into the market at, what was it, 117 million or whatever he was?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Right, the lines are open, the text is open as well, lots of messages coming through as well. Ryan is an Arsenal fan. He said Arsenal are the Premier League champions. Yes. I like how he's rebranded the Community Shield. English Super Cup champions. Next up, European champions is coming home, Mads. That's from Ryan. Chris the Blue got involved, said Maresca done okay at Chelsea and the Club World Cup was great, but the way he left, I wanted to see him fail miserably. Viva Alonso!
Viva Alonso, I like that.
And lots of people coming in with the Arsenal very happy with their win today. Hashtag bottlers, and they're having their moment today.
But fair play because when you're champions, it's easy to turn up today and treat it as a little bit of okay, we've been to the World Cup. Let's for 45 minutes, let's give it a good go. But they didn't. They were right on it, and you would expect from Arteta the sort of mentality that he has and he got a great return from them. Every second ball they won, every header. When you talk about the fundamentals of the game and you're talking about opening up the pitch and expansive play, you've got to win the battle first. And the battle today was well and truly squarely won by only one team.
Yeah. Manchester City fans, give us a shout as well. Yeah. And so my text message here saying, who won the Champions League in 2023? Yeah, Man City won the Champions. I just used Liverpool, Man U and Chelsea as big clubs. There's about 7 clubs that won the Champions League that we could say. Man City are a big club. I'm not going to do the top 10 big club thing.
No, let's not go there. But
we've had enough of that.
Yeah.
We might talk about it later on. But yeah, Man City are a big club. Done. Argument done. 03717 22 344. That is the number to call us. Manchester City fans, especially you that text me, whoever you are, big shout to yourself. I want to hear from you. What did you make of your performance today? City fans, give us a call. Are you a little bit worried going into a season without Pep for the first time in all these years?
Can I throw something at you?
You can.
Right. That's come to light, I think, today a little bit. Ronaldo has sort of suggested that it might be time.
Yeah, he has.
Right. I think 974 goals. You like to think he'll get to 1,000 before he goes, but obviously Messi, bless him, with his father dying, has suggested he might be finished. So who will be the new superstar player? Right now, when you look at Haaland and the World Cup that he had, he now has 67 million Instagram followers. That's more than Man City. That's more than Man United. That is incredible. So this guy is like a real massive figure in the game now. And I suspect that will only get bigger. So it'd be interesting to see what sort of season he has.
Is there possibly like a move for him to somewhere like Real Madrid?
Well, just on the numbers and the shirts and everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If those two legends leave the game, there will be a vacuum. Obviously, Yamal, there are other contenders, but Haaland at the minute, with the numbers, probably is the man.
Yeah, he is definitely the man. He's Man City's man. He's a brilliant striker. And Manchester City fans, it's your cue to call us. It is the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT.
In the way he was bullying Pacho, he was terrorising that defence. Did he miss chances? Yes, he did. Players at 25 will miss chances, never mind 17. He's going to learn a lot. I don't think you can start saying now he's the next striker after Harry Kane. But you know what you need to do now, Jeff? If I'm the FA, I am fast-tracking him because Luxembourg, no, he's not going to choose Luxembourg, but Cameroon, parents are from Cameroon. They will be looking at him right now saying, we want to get him in the squad for the Cameroon, get him playing a competitive qualifier so that he can't play for England. So maybe fast track him.
He's made it pretty clear that he wants to play for England, hasn't he?
Yeah, but you never know, do you? There's so many players. I was in that position where I could have played for Scotland, Nigeria, through my parents. His parents are Cameroonian. So if I'm the England setup now, he's been called up to under 17s for friendlies this month. Yeah. I'm fast tracking him even to the 21s. Not straight away now, Jeff, but let's see how he does over the next 2 or 3 months. It won't surprise me if he gets fast-tracked to the 21s. And Thomas Tuchel, the FA, are looking at it and saying, okay, do we get him into the squad? Do we get him a cap in a qualifier, a Nations League game, so that he has to play for England? Because after Harry Kane, how many strikers do we look at and say, whoa, he's the next Harry Kane? I agree. They shouldn't put pressure on him now that he's going to be our next striker after Harry Kane. But that performance last night, even though it's only 60, 70 minutes, he was fantastic. And maybe if he continues and the manager gives him game time this season, we could be looking in 2 years' time.
Martin Ødegaard picks up yet another trophy. He walks across with the Community Shield. He revs up the crowd. He grabs hold of the trophy by its side, walks in front of the stage, in front of his expectant squad, wobbles down to the floor, and the champions of England win the Community Shield. Martin Ødegaard throws it up into the sky, the pyrotechnics go off, and Arsenal celebrate an 18th Community Shield, a 6th of these in a row.
Good evening, it is the final word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, alongside experienced Premier League gaffer Alan Pardew, as we react to competitive football at the top tier of English football being back. The Community Shield this afternoon, which saw Arsenal beat Manchester City 3-0. Lots of very, very happy Arsenal fans, Pards, as expected.
Yes. And emphatic would be the word I'd use.
Do you know what as well? Like, you can see it all coming out now. Like you said, at the end of last season, when there was a bit of jeopardy, everyone was a little bit scared. Now they've won things. People are like, they're all like, bottlers, are we? Yeah, it's getting very like that. And, you know, when you win...
No. It's the time, you know, okay, we don't want to see smugness.
No.
That'll be something...
Don't get smug.
Don't get smug.
Don't get
But
smug.
You can be confident. There's nothing wrong with that.
Enjoy it.
Eddie was very confident.
Yeah.
Come out with some good numbers, you know, done his facts.
I want to talk about Manchester City quickly because a couple of things we noticed and the Man City fans noticed on socials is Jack Grealish being back.
Yeah, nice to see him really back in the fold, maybe. Do you think he's in the fold?
I don't think he's in the fold.
I mean, they've got a lot of power on that bench still to be used, of course.
You see, obviously, Phil Foden's obviously got a new deal there, and he's been heavily featured in a lot of their press of recent. Does that suggest to you that maybe Maresca really fancies him, obviously knows him from his time at the club?
Yeah.
And he's going to really sort of put his hat on Phil Foden.
You know, when you're an assistant manager, one of your roles really is to kind of encourage the younger group to get across the line, i.e. into the first team. And I suspect he took Foden under his wing, and now he's gone back. Might be his like golden glint in his eye. You know that he helped improve him. You know, it's sort of part of me.
Yeah.
So I get that. But Jack Grealish, you can't help feeling that this boy, he loves a headline. Even when he's not playing, he makes a headline. He's never going to go quietly. Will he get transferred? Will he stay at City? I think it's a big question mark. But if he stays at City, I do hope he gets some games. I've always been a fan.
Well, City fans, do you want Jack Grealish at the club? You know, is he someone you still want to have around? Interestingly, of course, with the fact that, you know, Trafford has gone to, James Trafford, that is, has gone to Leeds United. Lots of talk of Donnarumma today on social media with the Man City fans. I wonder if the Man City fans about Donnarumma.
He didn't have the greatest of ends the last season either, did he?
Lots being said. And of course, you know, that falling out of PSG, you start questioning, is that an issue? Is that a, you know...
He was off it today, there's no doubt about that. I mean, obviously, he's had a tremendous career. And he still looks the part. Today, he made a couple of errors and got punished. He really committed to a couple of... you know, when you're a goalie, one of the keys, when you're really, really confident, is you can be really patient and stand up a long time. When I see goalies who are not confident, they go down early. And he went down early today a couple of times.
Yeah, which isn't like him.
No.
We've got a funny one here. It says Jack, the Man U fan, but was that the Community Shield? Let's get to the bottom of this one. Good afternoon, Jack.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Am I right in thinking you're a Man U fan?
I am indeed. That is correct.
But you was at the Community Shield today?
I was. Yeah, I live in Cardiff, so, you know, rude not to. It wasn't very expensive.
So,
surprise.
Anyway, who was you supporting today then?
I was a neutral for the first minute, and then I saw some fairly dodgy behaviour from the City fans around me, and then I won't bring that up, but then I was sort of more on the Arsenal train. But again, wasn't really rooting for either team.
But what's nice is to get your sort of opinion on it, because obviously if you're watching as a neutral, you watch the game differently. You know,
yeah, exactly.
I went to see PSG versus Mallorca the other week, so it's nice to watch a game you're not emotionally invested in.
Yeah.
Just watch the football, didn't you?
Yeah.
What did you make of it, Jack?
Oh, you know, I thought the game was... it really reminded me as a United fan of Moisey, and sort of just the capitulation from the first minute. I just thought City never looked like they were in the game, and Arsenal were just fearless against Arsenal looked like they were playing against Championship or League One side in the pre-season friendly, whereas City looked like
scathing,
completely off form. They looked all hungover or something. You know what I mean? But it was some really big errors. And the minute the game went against City, the City fans I thought were really quiet. So didn't expect anything to come if there's no sort of support coming from your own fans, really.
You sounded just like a Man United fan there.
Yeah, there you go. What can you say?
And let's talk about Man United quickly because Marcus Rashford being back in the fold. I love our conversation last week was about whether or not Man United fans would have him back. What's your thoughts on him? He was involved yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah. I didn't get the chance to see the game yesterday, but I heard he didn't really do too much. Personally, I reckon that a squad with Rashford is better than a squad without Rashford, and that's sort of the simplest way you can put it. I just think there's very little cons you could have if you're having him amongst the side. Whereas it's just more depth, and we're playing far more games this season. Hopefully, we go deep into the Champions League. I think Rashford could really be he is a threat on that left side if he's playing there. I mean, remember how he was playing under Ten Hag's first season? He was absolutely electric. He was one of the best wingers in the league. I mean, that player is still in him. So I think that getting rid of him, especially if it was going to be a cheap deal, I think would be a mistake, in my opinion.
And Jack, after watching today, is it Arsenal's league again this season?
Oh, I reckon so. I reckon they've got one hand on the title already, unfortunately, because I wanted a stronger title race. Maybe with United in it if we're lucky, but probably not.
Well, we ain't kicked the season off yet, so let's hold our horses a little bit. But
it's true, but I think so.
No, just going back to Rashford, I just want to make a point about Rashford. I mean, if you could have him in your squad in the Premier League, every club would have him, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But it's where his head is. Will he be happy to make an impact for 20 minutes
That's the problem.
in a Champions League game and then doesn't play in the league and then misses another 3 or 4 games?
I think he's too good for that.
And he's had his time at Barcelona where I think he enjoyed it there. He didn't get a lot of game time, but you're at Barcelona. He probably accepted it a little bit easier than he might at Man United. So I think it's a problem maybe with the boy's head rather than the fact that he would be a great addition to the squad. I think if Michael Carrick would 100% say, listen, great, but could he keep him in that place for the whole season? And, with 20 games under his belt, I don't think that will be enough.
And of course, in other football today, the EFL's well underway and a couple of your old teams did play.
Yeah.
Not the best starts for Southampton or West Ham. Today we're going to talk about that around 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So West Ham fans, be at the ready to speak to your former gaffer and Southampton fans on 03 717 223344. That is the number to give us a call. Gunners Invincible Martin Keown is back with his old sparring partners Jim White and Simon Jordan tomorrow.
The A-team.
They're back. That'll be must listen radio. Simon will have a lot to say with Martin. I love it. Keep your calls coming into us 03 717 223344. You listen to The Final Word on talkSPORT with
talkSPORT's Matt Scott, the guy you just heard doing the news there, talking absolute guff because he rattled some cages this morning on breakfast. He listed off the top 10 biggest clubs in the UK. He said Chelsea cheated their way to success, can't be in the top 10, and Spurs have never won a Champions League. So, and he's put them, he's not even in the top 10. They finished 17th for 2 seasons in a row. I think he needs to remember that Nottingham Forest ain't been in the Premier League for about 15 seasons. So, anyway, Rory, we've asked you to do your top 10. What did you make just on Matt Scott's Chelsea not being in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, look, before we get into this, I think it's important that I just establish something.
Good evening, you listen to the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and experienced Premier League gaffer Alan Pardew, as we react to the Arsenal winning a trophy.
Yeah, and
another one.
And some other breaking news we've got coming in.
Oh, yeah. Scotland have appointed a new manager.
Yes, from Belgium.
Sebastian Pocogni?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. What are you going for? Go for it again. His name?
Poconoli.
Poconoli.
That's what I'm going to go with for
Yeah,
now.
I reckon that G might be silent.
We'll be joined with someone very soon to talk all things Scottish football.
Oh.
03717 223344. In other news in Scottish football, Celtic and Rangers have drawn each other, haven't they, in the cup?
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, what a start for Rangers. It's
They'll be a bit happier after today, after beating St Mirren 5-1, because I know a lot of their fans were very unhappy.
They were very uneasy. Hearts won big today, and I love to see them back in the frame. I think it creates a bit of jeopardy between the two, actually, Celtic and Rangers. So good on the Hearts. Tony Bloom will definitely be invested in another little some clever moves in the transfer market into Hearts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, we got some breaking news that Sebastian Poconoli confirmed as the new Scotland's men's national team coach. When I first heard of the interest, I was immediately excited about the opportunity. Scotland supporters are famous for their passion, most recently at the World Cup in the USA, and I've experienced it myself as a player for Belgium when we played in 2013. Along with my coaching staff, I'll do everything I can to give them a team to be proud of and build on the success that has been achieved already by my predecessor.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if his staff get full-time contracts.
Well, let's find out some more then, because we've got the one and only Scottish football correspondent David Tanner joining us. How are we, David?
Very well. Surprised, shocked even that this one has gone through, but it is from left field. There's no doubt about that.
That's what I was going to ask you straight away, because speaking to a lot of, Scottish journalists and football people, a lot of people wanted another Scottish manager in charge of Scotland. Where's this come from, David?
Well, I think there was no obvious Scottish candidate currently working. I suppose that's the answer to that. If you go back 15 years ago, as Alan will recall, most weeks in the Premier League, he'd have been up against a Scottish manager when there was about 10 or so Scottish managers in the Premier League. Now there are just 7 Scottish managers in the 12-team SPFL Premiership. So the Scottish FA's coaching badges and the coaching setup certainly are not producing the same amount of managers, much in the same way the team is not, they're not producing strikers and defenders at the moment. So this is a brave decision. There's no doubt about that. Poconoli only retired from playing football 5 years ago. So he's really, really inexperienced. And that's what makes it, for me, a very, very surprising appointment. But I suppose in modern football, nothing ever surprises you nowadays.
No. It'd be interesting to see how the Toon Army take to him. You can imagine at the start...
The Tartan Army.
You
did Newcastle.
Beg your pardon. How they take to him, because initially they're going to be brilliant, which they always are. But I hate to think if things go a little bit wonky. I mean, the Scottish team isn't particularly strong. There are some decent young players, as we see in the World Cup. I mean, I was really aggrieved, actually, because one of my staff was on the Scottish coaching team, and he was on a part-time contract. And it was only the manager who was on a full-time contract. Do you know if his team is coming under a full-time situation? Because that would make a big difference to me if I was the manager. I'd want my team full-time.
Yeah, the assistants have always been part-time in the Scotland national setup. Steve Clarke was full-time. The likes of Stephen Naismith, Alan Irvine, Chris Woods, former England goalkeeper, they were part-time. And that's been the way it's been over the years. For me, it's essential that he doesn't bring his cronies. You managers, Alan, have a habit of bringing all your cronies and your pals.
Cronies?
That's
You
not
mean
gonna
our
work.
assistants? You mean
Sorry,
our well-educated assistants?
Yes. It's not a time to bring in the pals. It needs to be Scottish people. There's a game in 6 weeks' time in Ljubljana, Slovenia. The squad will have to be announced in 4 weeks' time. He'll not have seen all the players play that by then. So it needs to be Scottish assistants. When Bertie Vogts was the manager, and I shudder when I mention the name Bertie Vogts, hugely successful player, assistant manager and manager of West Germany and Germany, but a disaster at Scotland. Didn't know the players, didn't know the positions they played, mixed up. Paul Dickoff thought he was a defender, and there was all sorts of incidents like that down the years. He had Tommy Burns, the late great Tommy Burns, helping him out, but this guy will definitely need Scottish assistance. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. And in terms of, Scotland over the last few years, getting to major tournaments, obviously it's been difficult to try and get out of group stages, etc., and go deeper into tournaments. But I think sometimes Clarke's achievements of getting them to the tournament in the first place has been a little bit overlooked. What's going to be the minimum requirement of this manager then for you, Dave?
Well, the minimum requirement for every manager is to qualify. I have to admit, I didn't think Scotland would ever qualify for a major tournament again. And Steve Clarke's got us at 3 in a row for the first time in Scotland's history. He won the group, which I think is forgotten a lot, to qualify for the World Cup. So he didn't get there because it was an expanded tournament. Scotland won their group above, frankly, a superior Denmark team, a superior Greek team. So from that point of view, qualification is going to be essential. But there are players there that we might not see too much more of. Andy Robertson, he might find he's very close to Kenny Dalglish's cap record. Whether he's going to stay long enough to do that, or whether he wants to devote himself to his new club, Tottenham, we'll have to wait and see. There are some young players coming through. There's 3 younger players in Serie A. You might expect to see Josh Doig, the Sassuolo left back, Kieran Bowie, the Verona striker, Lennon Miller, who's at Udinese. He's only 19, Lennon Miller. So you might expect to see them. Billy Gilmer, I bumped into his grandfather, Billy Senior, on Friday night, who said he's fit and ready for the start of the Serie A season. So there are options. There's some fresher players coming through. Robbie Ewers just signed for Sevilla, the striker. So there are players out there that look at all they can freshen the squad with, but it's going to be mighty tough after everything that Steve Clarke has done. The one thing we might expect, or people might hope for more, is a little bit more attractive style of play. But Steve Clarke didn't set out to entertain as such. He set out to win and get us to tournaments, which he did. If you entertain and you don't, then there's a problem.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, David Tanner there, Scottish broadcast. Scottish football correspondent for us.
About that. Firstly, the SFA should look at in full-time contracts for cronies, i.e. assistants, well-educated assistants, and that would help the manager perform the team at a better level, I would suggest.
Yeah.
How would you feel about being a part-time I'm the manager of Scotland. I'll say, do you want to come in, Madge? Part-time.
Part-time of Scotland.
It's just wrong, isn't it? It's just
crazy.
not right.
Speaking of like synergy and overlapping, you missed Pocanoli, at West Brom by like a few months.
Did I?
Yeah, he was at West Brom. And then before you came in. Contract rundown. So yeah, you're no dealing with him then.
Nope.
It'd be interesting to see how he gets on. I wonder what the Scottish fans think.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear 1 or 2 of them. Sometimes we get Scottish fans from all over the world on this show. I think we had one from New York once.
We did. Should we get a Scotland fan on?
Let's get one on.
03717 223344 is the number to call us. We got Arsenal fans waiting to come on as well. The phone lines are alight. Scotland fans, are you excited about your new boss? Give us a call. And Arsenal and City fans, we still want your views from today's Community Shield. 03717 223344. But coming up next, we're going to look back at a huge day in the Championship as West Ham took on Burnley.
Oof.
You're listening to The Final Word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. It all starts with a spin, 18+. GambleAware.org.
there's a bit of housery about it. And since Cucurella's gone, I kind of like that housery.
Oh no, I think it's a great quality. I think if you're talking about a footballer, strictly on the pitch here, and you use words like, oh, he's snide, he's snarling, he's aggressive. These are good words to use about a footballer. I want players to be like that. I think Chelsea have been a little bit too nice over recent years. And I think having somebody that is a little bit more on the front foot is a good thing. Enzo Fernandez, we've seen it. Like when he scored that goal against Paris Saint-Germain, he's running off towards their ultras, showing them the Club World Cup badge. Whenever we play Manchester United, he's got Mason Mount round the throat. Like he understands what Mason Mount's relationship with Chelsea fans is, and he leans into that. There are qualities to Enzo Fernandez, no doubt. But I'd 100% want him out of the club and 100% take the money.
Okay, Sean?
I totally agree. I do like him as a footballer, but his heart's not in it. And from the minute he started to tout himself around in terms of, I want to play for Madrid, you know what? Guess what? Go. The player I want to see fit is Lavia. Now, when I don't think you remember towards the end of December 2024, we almost went to the top of the league. And the reason why that is because Lavia was playing superbly. The one thing wrong with Lavia, when he injures an eyelash, he's out for about 6 months. So we need to keep him fit. And if we can keep him fit, when he was playing, Fernandez wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
The Six Nations, where giants do battle and legends are made. Epic sports which demands an epic voiceover every time. And actually has an interesting story as well. It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. The other home nations were a bit jealous, wanted in on the action, and after England played Wales in 1882, they all decided to hold an annual festival of international rugby, or the Home International Championship, which kicked off a year after. Now, the first decade was dominated by England and Scotland until Wales finally won in 1893 and Ireland a year later. After years of dipping in and out of the championship, France was invited to join full-time in 1910. But because France isn't a home nation, they had to give it a rebrand and settle on the Five Nations. But France were actually kicked out of the tournament in 1931. They were accused of paying players when rugby was still strictly an amateur sport. They had to wait years to be let back in, but after World War II, the Five Nations resumed. Didn't always run smoothly though, like in 1973 when all 5 teams won 2 matches and lost 2 matches. Now, because they didn't do points difference at the time, they just decided that everyone was the champion. It's like trying to keep kids happy, you know, the whole, you're all winners. In the years following, other teams in Europe started to get better at rugby and actually got to a stage where they were regularly beating teams in the Five Nations. In 1997, Italy beat Scotland, France and Ireland home and away. So 2 years later, the Five Nations invited Italy in, creating the Six Nations as we know it. In recent years, there have been calls to expand the tournament further to other European teams. Georgia and Portugal have been prime candidates to join of late. It's also been suggested there could be 2 tiers with promotion and relegation to promote growth of the sport in Europe. But the existing nations are a bit reluctant. So for now, it looks like the Six Nations, or Six Nations, or Sei Nazioni, is here to stay.
Good evening, welcome to the Final Word Phone. And Saints fans, get your calls into us 03717 223344. Later we'll be talking about the big changes in the Premier League dugouts and Ruben Amorim coming back to haunt Manchester United. But for now, 03717 223344 to air your views to the nation on the Final Word Phone in on talkSPORT. Right now. let's look back on Burnley and West Ham starting live in the Championships, which was live on talkSPORT.
Well, for Burnley, this feels like familiar territory. For West Ham, not so much. Going to deliver the corner down the right-hand side. Left footed towards the back post, heading down and in! And it's Kilman with a header. And West Ham's life in the Championship is actually off to the perfect start. Chance to cross from the angle of the box. He does. Fleming's down off the post and into the arms of Hermansen. And West Ham survive. Fleming's had several opportunities in the second half. And he's got the flick this time off the line. Headed away, gets to the byline, looking to pull it back. Kante still going, does pull it back, and in from Solomon. A debut goal from Manor Solomon. The man signed from Spurs. He's off and running in a West Ham shirt. Edwards was there, brilliant win of the ball. Oh, it's a penalty. Fleming with the ball on the penalty spot from 12 yards for Burnley. Referee blows his whistle and he sends Hermansen low to his left, back into the danger zone. Can it be clear? No, it can't. Driven in. Fleming scores and it's 2-2. It's an opening day comeback in the Championship for Burnley. They were gone, but Fleming with his second goal of the game, and Nicky Hyle on that far side is in raptures. Burnley 2, West Ham United 2.
It's easy, that Championship, Lark. We're going to go straight back up. That's what people were saying.
Well, the end of the game was a real massive disappointment. The last period of the game, they could have lost the game.
Well, yeah, they did if it wasn't for a poor decision on Burnley's behalf. West Ham throw away the chance of back-to-back wins this season. They beat Portsmouth 3-1 last week in the Cup. How frustrating will they be feeling after that 2-goal lead? And they looked good. They looked good at the start, didn't they?
Comfortable, didn't they? You know, when you look at that team on paper, it's okay, you wouldn't expect it to do very well in the Championship, but you could say it could hold its own in the Premiership. I'm talking about, sorry.
Oh, West Ham, yeah.
Yeah, because they got enough players in there. Castellanos, Bowen, Killen, I can't remember his name, centre back, Kilman. They definitely got the quality. So, of course, they're favourites. So you expect them to go to Burnley with a 2-0 lead. You don't expect them to suddenly throw that away.
Capitulate.
You're going to win the league. And actually, the back four looked all at sea at times. Fleming get the goals, but you know there was other chances for Burnley. It was a strange performance, and I can imagine West Ham fans wouldn't be happy. The good news about West Ham was I heard from somebody very, very close to the first team at Portsmouth, and said that last week in the Cup they were just a different level.
West Ham were,
yeah, just a different level to what they faced last year. So you know, I think on paper, and when you look at the history of West Ham, when they go down to bounce back, they've got a good history of that. They are the favourites. They're going to have some moments. They've got a manager who's experienced in the division as well. So you'd like to think they'll get over the moments of like Preston on a Tuesday night or going to Stoke, you know, in the wind and howl of winter. You got all those bridges to cross, and West Ham fans are not going to enjoy some of those games. It's going to be a grind.
Like the Pards derbies coming up for West Ham, because they've got Charlton next weekend, and then in the second round of the Cup they've got Southampton away, which isn't going to be easy.
No.
Talk about Southampton in a moment. Let's go to Simon. He's a West Ham fan. Get his thoughts on today's performance. How are you, Simon?
Yeah, I'm all right. A bit disappointed driving back. I've got to drive back down to Southampton. But what I was wanting to call about really was, apart from our manager, who I dislike, and the goalkeeper I think is atrocious, that game was an absolute brilliant game of football and an advert, if ever there was one, to get rid of VAR. It was end to end, like a cup final or a cup game, and it flowed. And all right, so we threw away 2 goals. Yeah, going defensive, not so keen on that. Go for the jugular if you're going to win a game. But you know, I'd rather stay in the Championship and watch football like that than go up into the Premier League and watch games that stopped every second. But is that a foul? Or you know,
yes,
he's had his hair pulled or whatever. It was a brilliant game. Disappointing but brilliant.
Yeah, no, I pick up on a few things that you've mentioned there. Firstly, what you do know about the Championship is every game's competitive. And, you know, that low block that the Premier League is very kind of renowned for, in keeping possession, not so prevalent in the Championship. It does occur, but not at the same level. and of course they can't keep it at the same level. So the game changes hands, possession changes hands. You get swings of momentum, and that's all what you had today up there at Burnley: swings of momentum and goals and excitement. And I hope, that West Ham's season does go like that. That you really enjoy it and you go up. You certainly deserve it.
Well, we did enjoy the game, apart from at the end, which we could easily have lost. But I do think that goalkeeper is out of his depth. He just looks like a rabbit in the headlights at times. He just doesn't seem to know what he's doing. And I don't know why we're playing him over a fantastic keeper like Areola. It may not be as good as he was, but he's certainly better than Manson.
Yeah, is that one of the points for you that you're looking at as probably the weakness? And again, a good or a bad goalkeeper completely can change your season.
The problem with Harmison in particular, for me, is his presence, and in the Championship, set plays are massive. Every team are huge teams. Yeah. You can't buy enough. You can't get enough of finesse in the Championship. So in a way, you go for power and pace. And all Championship teams have that. They're real big sides, powerful sides, and set plays. He's got to do better. He's got to be stronger in terms of dealing with his own 6-yard box. Otherwise, he's going to concede goals like he did today.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, as you mentioned, Areola, I just think that little bit more experience in the Championship will pay dividend.
Yeah, that position could change.
Yeah. Simon, going up for West Ham, is that the only season that's acceptable for you?
No, I just want to watch good football. I was discussing it with some of my mates today, saying, if we don't go up, we don't go up. But we fall back in love with football, which we've fallen out of love with because it's just absolute, the cartel of the Premier League. And that was a great game today. I say not the result anybody wanted in the long drive home, but the football was brilliant.
That's what we want as fans, don't we? Thank you very much, Simon. West Ham fan, actually quite happy in the Championship because of the lack of VAR.
Yeah, and the different kind of regime that you have in the Championship compared to the Premier League, and some of the negative passing. And I was disappointed in the World Cup, Norway in particular. Having possession with no emphasis on attack at all, just keeping it for keeping its sake, and that worried me a little bit that might become a tiny model for a lesser club to keep the ball away from the opposition, and particularly in the Premier League where you have the quality to do it. Let's hope we don't see too much of that.
Yeah, because that's why, as Simon said, he's fallen out of love with football a little bit. Just, and again, sometimes the way you're forced to play against teams.
Yeah, let me just tell you a little bit of a trend that's happening in the Premier League, which I think's a little bit of a worry, is that they don't want the game to keep transferring. So therefore, they don't want to put the ball at risk.
It's possession based, isn't it?
Correct. So what they do then is they take a pass where there is less percentage chance of turning the ball over. Therefore, you get negative football to get right to the edge of the area, and then that one moment where you're looking for a bit of craft breaks down, and then you're thinking, what have we just watched for 6 or 7 minutes?
Well, that's one thing I've watched in recent times.
You'd have watched a lot of it at Spurs.
Yeah.
And let's hope the new manager is prepared and brave enough to take riskier passes, riskier kind of setups, riskier action, get the game to turn over a little bit and be good enough to defend it.
And that's the thing, when you've got good defenders who can play with the ball.
One thing at Spurs, well, we ain't getting on Spurs at the moment, but we know we sometimes always get round to it. You've got great pace. And if you've got great pace in your defensive group, then you can turn possession over. And you're caught high up the pitch and teams are breaking on, you can cope with it. But a lot of teams feel vulnerable to that and won't open the game up. So it'd be interesting to see how a lot of the Premiership clubs, and we're getting a lot of foreign managers, with the new managers that have come in, there's no British managers around really anymore. One or two sprinklings of them. We got Marcus Rose at Bournemouth. We got Pierre Sage at Palace. We got Arbiola at Fulham. Jesse, how am I pronouncing him? Newcastle. Is it Jesse? Jessel?
Geisler. Bond films?
Love Bond films.
What's your favourite Bond film?
My favourite Bond film? Good question. Goldfinger.
Know what mine is?
Go on.
the spy who loved me, and that brings me nicely on to Southampton.
Nice link.
You like that? Ross missed the link.
I like that. He's asleep, the producer.
I know.
One of the great moments.
It was a big moment there, and he's missed it.
He's still missing it.
But elsewhere, Tonda Eket's Southampton side lost 2-1 against Watford. Of course, they're on minus points, aren't they?
Do you know, I've got Watford down as a bit of a... I've got a few surprise packages down that I think could make real impact this year in the Championship, and Watford are one of them. QPR are another one I've got down, ironically. Now, it'd be interesting because both London teams both really had sort of lulls, particularly QPR. I don't think they've finished in the top 10 for like 9 years or something ridiculous. So it'd be nice for them to have a great season. Going back to Southampton, what a mess. I don't quite understand what the club are doing, if I'm honest. They're sticking by this manager who has held his hands up to looking at opposition. What is he? Why? What's going on there? We have an FA charge against him. I thought, well, if the FA charge him, probably the owner will relinquish his duties and bring in a fresh start. All the players are under him. They're all like, "Oh, did he let us down? Well, it was him, the manager, or was it me? Or did we know about him? We didn't."
And they're starting life on minus 4 points, which is never fun in the Championship because every point counts when you're trying to go to get back up again.
I started at Southampton with minus 10 points.
Minus 10?
Minus 10 points in League One. And I remember trying to get those 10 points was very, very difficult. It made it harder, actually. Do you know what I mean? It was extra pressure.
Yeah.
You needed to get it out of the way. And they probably felt that today.
Yeah, absolutely. Southampton fans, give us a call. Your former gaffers here. Let us know what you think about the current manager situation. And
Still got good players, by the way.
Yeah, good team.
Yeah.
And as I said, West Ham and Southampton play each other in the second round of the Carabao Cup. It's coming up in like about 10 days.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? It's first and second round, bang, bang.
Yeah. Well, Spurs have got another one of your former clubs. 2 of your former clubs. You played for Spurs. We got Charlton.
Well, be a tough game.
Yeah.
Charlton are not bad.
03717 22 number 3 before. It is the final word phoning on talkSPORT.
Swap 1 Europa for 1 Prem.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
2.
obviously.
You're swapping 2, Jay. You are.
Dunno.
Jay, you are.
Maybe 2. Don't know, though. Like, them nights as a final, you've been in cup finals. Them nights, you never give them
Jay,
up.
I've been 2. And do you know what? I don't want to bring it up, yeah? You cost me one of them.
What do you mean I cost you one of them?
You missed the pen. So
Hold on. Wait, hold on. I didn't see you taking one.
I said to Harry, I'll take 1.
No.
5.
No. Let's have this out. Don't be blaming me for your Carabao Cup loss, all right? Because I took the first pen and Darren Bent was nowhere to be seen.
And I'm going to tell you the exact truth of what happened.
No,
At the time, I was a penalty taker. I said to Harry, I'll take 1. He said, no, you take 5. I went,
no, Robin King took 5.
No, I was supposed to take 5.
Right.
And he said, you took 1. So it never got to me. I never got to take 1.
Yeah, but the 5th penalty on that night was Robbie Keane.
No, it's me.
Nah, you're lying.
Ask Keno. I don't know if you can remember, but...
Nah, you're lying.
I was 5.
You're lying.
I was the penalty taker at the time. So
why didn't you take 1?
Because I said to Harry, he said, no, 5.
Nah, I disagree, mate. I think you bottled it.
Hey, listen. Have you seen the pen, Bill?
I did not cost you a Carabao Cup.
You did, mate.
Where were you in the 90 mins?
Pretty bubbles in the air. Drives you mad after a while. It can drive you mad.
Why?
It just gets sung and sung and sung.
What, even after you've lost?
When you walk out and they're doing it, it's brilliant. I love it. That's the best moment. West Ham manager.
Who's got the best entrance song? got to be Liverpool, innit?
It definitely ain't Charlton.
What was Charlton's?
When the red Robbie comes, bub, bub, bub. I used to think, what's this when we were walking out? I mean, that ain't going to get you fired up, is it? That's a ridiculous song.
I got to say, when you're at Anfield and Liverpool do that,
yeah,
it's pretty spectacular. I must admit.
This is a true story, right? So West Ham, people accuse me at West Ham using Bobby Moore's name in vain and stuff like that. I had West Ham and more than football, blah, blah. Anyway, one thing I did do, right, was copy what Anfield did. So when we was doing Bubbles, I said to the guy who was the DJ, can't remember his name, cut the music and let the boys sing the last bit. And it stayed like that ever since. Never been credited for it, by the way.
Well, that was your decision.
That was my decision.
No, it wasn't.
100%.
And you know what? And it is that moment where they cut out and the crowd sing.
And that's the bit that gets the hairs on your back.
How about this?
And I nicked that from Anfield, only because I'd been to Anfield so many times that I thought to myself, well, no one else does that, actually.
And it is a great moment.
Yeah.
Because when they all start singing, you're like, okay, this is pretty...
I don't think it'll work at Charlton so much.
Yeah. Well, I like that. That might solidify our DJ gig at Boomtown together.
There you go.
You've got the ideas.
I've got history.
So we are talking about some festivals.
When you're a football manager, that's all those things that are going through your head. It's not just a football team. It's like, how can I improve match day? How can we get the crowd more involved? What we doing in the build-up?
You were Ted Lasso before Ted Lasso.
Well, you have to have your Ted Lasso moments. That's part of it. And some of the ideas you come up with are ridiculous and, they get shot down. But that one worked quite well.
Yeah, as we said, we're talking about some music festivals today as well because so many are going on. I played 2 at the weekend. Boomtown Festival.
Which is the one I would like to go to. I'd like a gig there, me and you. Can we get a gig there?
Right, the people of Boomtown.
The lighting man.
Do you know what? That wouldn't be off limits because there's some absolute random stuff that goes on at Boomtown. It's great.
Oh, it's one of those sort of things.
You can, one stage is doing this, the next stage is doing drumming.
Give me that thing, right? That board with the knobs on.
The lights.
And I just twist them, right? and move a bit. And like smile at you now and again. Yeah,
just wave.
Top man. And
smile and wave.
Yeah. I'm going to do that gig.
And I also played at Windsor yesterday, the Windsor Racecourse.
Which I have attended on a couple of times. An evening? Windsor racing in the evening?
No, this was Summertime Live.
Ah, okay. They do evening gigs as well. Very good.
No, this is really good. Good crowd.
Yeah, nice crowd at Windsor.
Yeah, lovely. So if you've been a festival this weekend, do let us know.
I went to Goodwood. Not as good as Goodwood though. Goodwood is the benchmark.
That's the benchmark.
It's the benchmark of racing.
Before we go back to the phone lines, I want to hear from you. 037722344. What's the first ever festival you went to? Now, my first ever festival I went to was Reading Festival. It comes into makes sense at the moment because on Thursday I think people get their GCSE results.
That's the blowout, isn't it?
Yeah. My mum and dad, because I got good GCSE results, they let me go to Reading Festival. I saw Metallica, System of a Down, the Libertines, the Streets. Amazing. And that 2003 in Reading, you was the manager.
That was my time.
How mad is that? Like one day, I'm in a tent.
And I was going past on the A, whatever it was, in my Bentley.
In your Bentley.
Look at that mob in there.
Yeah, look at
the state of.
Look at that scruffy lad over there who's covered in dust. What's he doing?
What's he doing in the middle of the street?
You're on the radio.
Out of the way.
You're on the radio with him now.
Kentucky.
So it's like no. I'll tell you what. I remember eating. It was horrible. And other burgers are available. A Rustler's burger from like the service station.
Rustlers. That don't sound good, actually.
I was skinny them times. 037722344. Before, let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Scott, who's a West Ham fan. To have his say on the final word. Hello, Scott.
Good evening, Madge. Good evening, Pards. How you doing? You all right?
Good.
How are you feeling after that?
Well, listen, elation to deflation, isn't it? You know what I mean? When you tune it up, that's exactly what happens. Just on the first festival I ever went to V Festival over in Chelmsford.
Quality.
And on that weekend, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters, Coldplay, Faithless,
look at that.
and Prodigy.
That's
to be fair, Scott, I'm not being funny. No wonder you're a West Ham fan. I like all them. I mean, the ones he mentioned, I've never heard of them.
No, listen, V Festival's lineups were elite, weren't they?
Oh, the Chili
mate, they were good. They were very good indeed.
What year was that?
It would have been about, I think, 2001, maybe 2002.
Yeah.
Because the Foo Fighters were not as big, so they came on just before the Chili's, and Coldplay were brand new, so they was like in the Sundown set. Do you know what I mean?
Sundown set. That sounds nice.
it was mega.
Good
proper
times.
good. Al, I've mentioned you a few times today, Al, to be honest, mate.
Go on.
All in good ways as well, to be perfectly honest. Well, look at the season West Ham got relegated and we came down and we were too good to go down, right?
Yeah.
You came in, you took over. Now, you had Michael Carrick, you had a quality midfielder in Michael Carrick, you had Jermaine Defoe, you had other players there, and you went out and it was only really the second season where we got proper championship players.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm wrong here, but I may be getting the dates mixed up. But when the Rio Cocas, Mullins, Marlon Airwoods, like proper championship players came in, that we did well. Now, I'm not saying Castellanos today. To me, I look at him and he's a walking red card in this division. He really is. He thinks he's Billy Big Boy.
I happen to really like him, Scott. If I'm honest.
No, I do. I like him. I like him as well. But he's going to get kicked a lot in this division.
Yeah,
he's going to have to know it.
Did he not cope with that today?
That's what I'm saying. Now, so my biggest issue with today, and my biggest issue probably over the last 9 months, is Espirito Santo. Now, let's bear in mind, right? He came in what, September, October last year, right?
Yep.
So it's not like he came in March and did this amazing thing and nearly kept us up. He had a good 6 months and he couldn't work it out. Then when he worked it out, he reversed on it and nosed it up. When he worked it out, have two up front. We'll have Pablo, who's not great. We'll have Tatty, who occupies. But what that does is that allows Somerville and Bowen to sit there and have the width, and we can sit there and we can punish teams and it confused. Now, and then he changed. Once we got ourselves out of the relegation zone, we did a bottle job. We did an Arsenal. We bottled it, right? Well, as soon as Tottenham went into the bottom three, we sat there and was like, right, okay, let's try and it. Oh God, it was frustrating. Then I look at today. Now, Burnley were the better side, to be perfectly honest. And look, if you give me this 2-2 draw in the middle of December, halfway through the season, whatnot, then I'll definitely take it.
Yeah.
But as I said, elation to deflation. Being 2-0 up and being a better team than Burnley last season, and then sitting there and losing the game 2-2 is really deflating. But what you've got to sit there and look at is, so we had Pablo playing it. Now, Pablo's we're still trying to work him out. He does.
Yeah, I've worked him out. I don't think he's good enough.
Yeah, right. So exactly. Yeah, thank you, Al. We're still trying, but yes, he's not good enough. But what he did do was occupy defenders, right? So then when you take him off, you put James Ward-Prowse on, and you put James Ward-Prowse out on the right wing, and you put Bowen down the middle. You're losing your pace down the wing, and you're putting probably a creative midfielder on the right. Nothing was working today. I'm struggling to understand. What we're all struggling to understand with Nuno are his tactics, Al. Look, listen, I'll tell you what, Al, what was brilliant with you, mate, and was if we were winning, you still brought on an attacker. Right? You did.
Well, it depends, but obviously I have had this with the semi-final World Cup defeat where I think the manager got it completely wrong and he fed into a negativity. I want to go back to just something you said earlier, which I think is really important for West Ham fans to understand about going down a division. I did have Michael Carrick, I had Jermaine Defoe, I had David James as well. And what you got to work out is who can cope with the Championship mentally. Because Michael Carrick could, because he was only a young player and his career was, on the up massively. But he wasn't really a finished product. I didn't think at that time he ended up being a finished product.
Jermaine couldn't because of what was going on in his era.
And you might remember the game. I think it was West Brom. We were 3-0 up. He got sent off when we were 3-0 up. Things like that. So you've got to you've got to quickly shift from them and bring in players who can cope with that 46 program, fighting for your life at Stoke on a January night. Which is this is where.
Sorry to
go on.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Owen. This is what I'm worried about with West Ham at the moment. Right. So Burnley today have got a Championship squad. They have. They've got players out there today that I would take in West Ham's team over certain other players. I would take that Zian Fleming all day long. All day long, I'd have him up there.
He's a throwback, isn't he?
He is a throwback, yeah.
Exactly.
But you wait till you come against Cross Hull and Middlesbrough and Wrexham and Derby. Don't think they ain't got proper players. They have.
No, listen, this is what I'm trying to sit and say is that Look, get rid of your Castellanos, get rid of your Pablos. Bring in, look, for me, what you did well out and back then, and this is at the end of the day, you went, right, I need English, young, hungry, fast, powerful footballers. It's what you went and got, and that's how we end up going up.
You know, I don't think it needs to be English. If I'm honest, it happened to be because that was the market I worked in at the time. But young, hungry, trying to prove a point, and actually even an older player who comes in and who's got a point to prove. That is always important in the Championship.
Brilliant call though. Thank you very much. Loads of messages coming in about festivals and stuff. Pards. Talking about festival, lads. I was at the Huge Isle of Wight Festival in 1970. The biggest crowd.
1970.
Yeah, this is the huge one. The biggest crowd in world history. 750,000 people.
The Who.
3 days of madness, never to be seen again. Jimi Hendrix highlighted.
Bit early for the Who, maybe.
On the Sunday. No, 1970.
No, it'd be all right, yeah.
Which highlighted at 2:30 in the morning of Monday. He died 2 months later in Paris. That's from Alan.
Wow.
I got a good one here. Said about me going to Reading Festival. It's from Roger. He said, Madge, how did your musical taste go so wrong if you started out at a brilliant rock festival like Reading?
Yeah.
Roger, you forget. Well, people don't forget because they might not know. As much as I am an electronica DJ in the realms of more house and garage and dance.
Electronica?
Yeah.
Is that...
It's electronic music, isn't it?
Okay.
EDM, electronic dance music. I am a proficient guitarist with quite a strong collection of guitars.
I've seen Kevin play the guitar.
You have? You've seen Plain Old Kev, which is more of my rock outfit, Rog. So you'll have to come and see a Plain Old Kev gig. Loads of messages about festivals. Madge, did you pass this week with an A-star? Ringo, see? Your School of Rock. Thank you very much indeed. Keep those festivals coming in. Imagine Pards from Jill. Thank you for our little gifts, Jill, by the way.
Yeah. Can I just go back to the festivals, right? So in your opinion, because the game today, the Arsenal game, moved from Wembley because stadium concerts. I think.
The weekend's on.
A lot of the big clubs had concerts on, and this is the season, isn't it? Festivals. What is the biggest festival in Britain?
It's Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
Yeah.
But it's only every 2 years.
No, they've had a what's it called year?
When they let the fields breathe or whatever.
This isn't very
Okay.
regular that they do this.
Oh, usually it's every year, is it?
Most years, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've never been or played at Glasgow.
It's always the first time.
Next year.
And weren't you nominated for a Grammy this year?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. I was part of the project.
I know.
So yeah, I like it. Party nice.
Yeah, I got in there.
Oh, from League Manager of the Year to Grammy-nominated match to the record-breaking final word. It's competition time. We're giving you and three mates the chance to win the Ultimate Hospitality Day. Out at the
Is that not out with us?
It could be. Out at the 250 Betfred St. Ledger at Doncaster. You'll get a table in the Home Straight.
St. Ledger, the race, yeah. Nice.
You'll get a table in the Home Straight restaurant, champagne on arrival, and 3-course fine dining. And afternoon tea. Wow. Plus 10 runners-ups.
Scone, butter and jam.
Very nice. Clotted cream. Win 4-day festival passes. Head to talksportwin.com to enter now. So that is your chance to win an ultimate day out. That's going to be brilliant. talksportwin.com to enter now. Coming up next, we'll hear from Mikel Arteta and Enzo Maresca.
Hold on a minute. I've got a quiz question. Just come to my head. I want to get it out there. You ready?
Go for it.
Stuart Pearce will have a game, me and you. How many festivals has he attended, do you reckon?
Oh, a lot. Oof. You got the number?
No. I'm going to guess it, though.
We're going to guess and find out.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 76.
I'm going to say 23.
Oh, okay.
0377 22 3 it's the final word.
Who's winning the title?
Don't know. I don't know. I want to know what you think of this because I haven't got a clue. I really haven't. I think it's one of the most hardest calls to make we've had in recent years.
The thing is about Manchester City, I wonder without Pep how different it'll be.
Yep, and if they lose Rodri.
Exactly. You wonder what it's going to be like,
Yep.
but then you never write them off. Arsenal, I think, look like the most complete team.
Gabriel injured though
This
for
is
5
true,
months.
For 5 months.
And Trossard going out. I don't like the Trossard sale. I really don't. I think he's such a big, influential player for them. I can't believe they've sold him.
I know, but then Guimaraes came on in.
Big signing. Like him a lot.
But then I also look at Manchester United and I wonder, but Chelsea, I think, Jason's right. I don't think we should be sleeping on it at all.
No. We could have a 5 or 6 horse race this season. Yeah. That would be incredible. It really would. I don't want to see somebody run away with it.
Go on then, though. But Jason looked down the camera and delivered that it will be Chelsea.
I know.
So who is it, Ben? Put your neck on the line.
I'm going to say Man United. I do. I think Man United. I think the last season's form has set into motion a style of play and an expectation of what them players have to deliver week.
Well, it is the final word phoning with Majin Pards. I didn't say that. We're here, Majin Pards, Sundays. We're back. The season's back. And the Premier League season kicks off next weekend. Excited about that, Pards?
Yeah, I think the World Cup is taking a little bit of that excitement away. It's just, it's sort of...
Made me more excited.
Here we go. But I think probably, hopefully, we're in for a great season. Let's hope so. And I keep looking at Aston Villa, and the sow of Rodgers it really bothered me, that sow, because they're so close and yet they can't. They had to sell their best player. I hope they can recover to the same level. Let's see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to have the cartel at the top.
Do you know how much I love this show, Pards?
Go on, mate.
Next weekend. So Thursday I'm in Ibiza.
Lovely.
Friday.
Sunset.
No. I'm in New York.
Wow.
For a show. I'm literally flying back the next day so I can be home for the final word.
That's very, very good of you. And the New York was a good, well-paid gig?
Well, it's a gig.
Okay. Well, it's not,
We don't talk finances.
We got to bring the dough in, haven't we?
Well, you've got to pay the bills.
Yeah, of course you have.
But I love doing this show that much that I'm like, it's the start of the season. I'm not missing the first game.
No, you can't miss that.
I can't miss that.
No, you can't miss
No way.
Yeah.
I've got to be here with my final word crew. On the subject of festivals, I was at Milton Keynes last weekend I saw this with Axe, Cool in the Gang, Sister Sledge.
Cool in the Gang?
Yeah, cameo.
Was that in my time?
Shalimar.
Shalimar?
Yeah, Grace Jones.
I see Shalimar live. This is a true story, and I swear he did the Michael Jackson walk, right, before Billie Jean.
Really?
I'm convinced of it. And those who are Shalimar fans may well remember that. He's a fantastic dancer. I can't remember the guy's name, but he did what's it called, that walk?
The moonwalk.
Moonwalk. Yeah.
Candy Staton was there. UB40 to name a few, plus DJ sets. By the way, UB40 were decent, even if it was without Ali Campbell, who has his own tour with another UB40 lineup. This is true.
Oh.
There's 2 UB40s.
Oh, is there?
There's like the instrumentalists, and then there's Ali Campbell.
So they've fallen out. Yeah. I'll take it.
That's from Tony in West London. No, I wasn't there, mate, because there was a Glitterbox stage as well. I wasn't there. Sounds like a good gig, though. As a Forest fan, it was like deja vu listening to the West Ham fan. Nuno cost us the Champions League place by going all negative with 7 games to go. Stopped the positive subs and became reactive instead of proactive. That's from Pete in Edinburgh. Is that in Nuno's makeup then, maybe?
He's a goalie by trade. You would suggest that keeping it tight at the back would be high priority. You're an ex-goalie.
Goalie by trade who was trained by Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
Doesn't bode well, does it?
Yeah, I think it is difficult because I remember when I was at Reading, we were top of the league. Brighton was second. We had 10 games to go. And we probably only needed to win 3 or 4. Would have been champions, 5 maybe. Draw. We drew all 10.
No, you never.
We went up, but we drew all 10. And it still rankles with me at the time. When I think back to myself, forget about the team for a minute, was I consumed by it? Was I negative? Did my manner change? You know, under the pressure of that situation, you're never quite sure. So I think subconsciously you do slip into
subconscious.
That. Yeah.
Right. If you just joined the show, welcome. And let's get back to the Community Shield to hear talkSPORT's Alex Crook with both managers. Let's hear from the new boss, the new Manchester City boss, Enzo Maresca. But first, here is the victorious
Chelsea boss.
Yeah, here's the victorious Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta.
Does that tell us all about your players' character, the fact you showed such intensity, such tenacity right from the start?
Absolutely, and you are always intrigued. You know, we left them after the parade, lifting the trophy, and 6 weeks, 7 weeks later, you are in front of them. I say, okay, how this looks like now, and I saw the fire in the belly. I saw players coming early, and that's all really good signs.
How big a challenge will it be to try and get that Premier League title back from Arsenal based on their performance today?
Yeah, but I think they show even today, but they show in the last 2, 3, 4 years that they have been always there, fighting until the end. But we're going to do our best to be there and compete with them until the end.
Can I ask you a quick one on Rodri before you go? Is there any movement in terms of him potentially leaving the football club? Do you expect him to stay?
No, at the moment, no any update. He's in Manchester recovering, and we'll see what's happened.
Yeah, that was both managers there, Mikel Arteta and Man City's new boss, Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca sounded quite, upbeat still, didn't sound bummed out by it. Obviously deflected in the Rodri question. He doesn't really know what's going on.
He deflected 2 questions, I thought. The first question he defected was like, oh, we're going to push him, i.e. I'm not favourites to win the league title. They're very much the favourites, and if I finish second, well, that will be a good season. So he took the pressure off himself a little bit there and his club. On the Rodri one, the signing of Anderson was everything for me for that sort of money that he's going.
Yeah.
But, of course, they're like all the time, whenever you deal with a Spanish club, and I've dealt with a few times with Spanish clubs, they are notoriously difficult to nail down. They always blame the president. They can't get hold of the president. They can't get hold of this. And it's like, well, come on, we're getting near the end of the window. Are you going to make a bid or not? Well, when the president arrives back from his yacht or wherever he's been, we'll talk to him and we'll come back to him. They don't come back to you. So I think that's what's going on there. And there's cat and mouse about the figure, etc., etc. He's the difficult one to price, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah, big time.
He was the player of the World Cup again after winning the Ballon d'Or last year. So 2 years ago. So you are talking about a very, very special player and a big, big presence to take out. every game I see when he didn't play Man City last year, they looked vulnerable.
Yeah. Let's go to Trevor. He's an Arsenal fan. He was at the game today. Good evening, Trev.
How's it going, mate? You all good?
Yeah, very well indeed. How are you feeling after seeing that very dominant performance?
Mate, do you know what, right? After the pre-season and that, I weren't that confident. But then after seeing us today, I was like, how can you not put us favourites?
What did you see today that made you feel like that?
Mate, just the team effort, like the fans, like just everything about it. Like, we are back, mate. And I was excited. I was mega excited. And I'm like, what is not to love about this football club?
Well, I mean, I have to say the crowd was like, what was it?
It was three quarters.
75% Arsenal.
Yeah, it's 75%.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Pardew Majestic. Let's ask you this. Did you expect us to win the way we did?
Well, today?
Yeah, today, yeah.
Big time. I think, we even said it in the last season. I said, Arsenal have a real chance here to be the dominant force in English football over the next few years, because you've got teams like Manchester City in transition, Chelsea, Liverpool, etc.
The thing is, like, Slot gone.
Exactly.
Well gone, like, mate, it's wide open this season. And I thought it'd be quite difficult this seaon as an Arsenal fan, because everyone's going to want to beat us.
You will have that. It's going to be really interesting to see, when it gets really tough and you've got the tougher oppositions, how Arteta sets up there.
Our time always comes at the end of the season, because everyone puts pressure on us. But we've been there now.
Mm-hmm.
We've been there. We've won it. So why can't we win it again?
Well, you can win it again, but let's just have a little bit of a warning, because last year Man City lost this same game to Crystal Palace, right?
Yeah.
Charity Shield last year. Crystal Palace beat them comfortably, I thought. And yet they still rebounded pretty well and pushed Arsenal when there was a point when they beat them at the Etihad. We thought, Man City are going to do it.
Yeah.
But Arsenal were resilient, did the job, and that's what you got to do. There will be waves where it won't be as great as this for Arsenal, and they got to dig themselves out of it. The one thing that you do know about Arteta's team is they dig in.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you have to admire about them. And I'm not just talking about the defenders and the central midfield players. The offensive players dig in.
Right.
And that is the difference between winning a title and not.
Let's go over to a Manchester City fan. We've finally got a City fan. Charlie joins us. How are you, Charlie?
Hi, thank you.
Very welcome to the show, my friend. Are you disappointed in that result, or did you think you saw it coming?
Well, it's hard to put in balance, really. I think once we went behind, like Maresco said, we just didn't recover. We lost everything. And I also think that Don was to blame for our 3 goals, and I don't think he played like that throughout the season. So it's hard to weigh up altogether, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a one-off game, and it's before the season starts, so obviously it's hard to judge what you see coming. What's your actual thoughts on the new manager, and how much faith have you got in him? Because at the end of the day, we know the legacy that Pep Guardiola leaves behind. There was even fans with "We miss you" Pep banners in the stadium, which can't be helpful for Maresca.
Nah, but
what's your thoughts, Joe?
Well, we can't keep on going back on the past glories and stuff like that, even though it's recent glory. I think we've got to move on and get behind Maresca and see what he can do. I'm sure he's got it within him, because Pep chose him to be the next manager.
Mm-hmm.
Pep knows him, and he's seen something there, and he's left a team with a basis what he can work on, and he can see what he can do from that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this, that the Manchester City stadium is going to need to help the manager, I think, this year.
Good point.
When you, like, the final was a sort of, typical, Manchester City fans go to semi-finals, finals all the time. It's another costly trip down there. But I think at home, they're going to have to be massively important to that team, because they are going to get tested this year. And this manager is replacing a legend. And the history of replacing legends is not good.
No.
It is not good. So he has got a job on his hands, Maresca. He's a different personality to Pep. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he's going to need that fan base.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you. We'll continue to take the calls next here on The Final Word. Don't forget, this is The Final Word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. All your favourite games, all in one place, 18+, gamblingaware.org.
honestly, I've seen a few messages today and you go, yeah, that O'Hara and Gabby, they're talking rubbish, need to get rid of them. You know, Rory talks sense. I'm like, having a laugh.
Yeah, that was me. That was me saying that. Yeah. I've been commenting. I've been, God, those two have been terrible. Look at those two giggling away.
Brennan Johnson, listen, fair play to him. He had a little bite. And that's fine. Got no problem with a player having a bite back because it's all part and parcel of working in the media, being a footballer. You're going to take criticism. He obviously didn't like the fact we said it was crap for crap. What he didn't realise, and I'm sure...
That's weird of him, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously he's not going to like that. But, you know, it was only a bit of a laugh. But, you know, I get it. People are going to... You can get the ump with things. I've been called crap plenty of times. Get called crap every single day of the week. Don't take it personal. All right? It is what it is. He has been crap.
Yeah, I think that's
like,
the point.
I'm sorry, but, you know, like, I'm not saying he's a bad player. Anyone who plays Premier League football, anyone who does what he's done, fair play. Brilliant. Last season, Brennan Johnson was crap.
Yeah.
He would be the first to admit it. And hopefully he goes to Everton and he does all right. And Dwight McNeil goes the other way. I like Dwight McNeil. I think he's a good player. But his stats, is what we were talking about on the show, me and Gabby, were crap.
Yeah.
So there's no apology needed. I know Gabby bottled it like he always does.
He blamed you. He said it was you.
He tried to throw me under the bus. Not the first time. Won't be the last. You know, but I'll stand by it. Like, nothing against Brennan Johnson.
I think you're right.
He's got all the attributes to be a decent player.
Yeah, I think
last
you're right.
season, he was crap.
Good evening, it's the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with Majestic and Alan Pardew. So many of you getting involved during the show, lots of different things. Some people with the festivals, some people are talking about Arsenal, West Ham, Southampton, it's all going off. Madge, like you, I started with a great rock festival, Donington, Monsters of Rock. AC/DC headlined with Van Halen, Ozzy, ZZ Top as well. AC/DC that night was one of the most magical nights of my life, man. That's from Roger. It's a good lineup, that.
Talking about race courses, right? That was race course.
It was Donington, yeah.
I was at Snetterton today.
Oh, I've been there.
In up near Norwich.
Yeah.
To see my good friend, my neighbour, Mark, win his race in the GT4.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. The McLaren, he's an amateur. And so at that level, you have an amateur and a pro. Interesting.
Yeah.
What a good day out that was, by the way. And thanks to everybody there who made it very friendly for me over there. That's right.
Nice track.
Yeah, and then motorsport, British motorsport, people don't realise how big it is. You think sometimes you think about Formula One, but you know, touring cars, GT cars, the whole shebang.
Even like the MotoGP.
So well organised. They're brilliant. And the people around them are fantastic.
Yeah, I used to go to a lot of MotoGP stuff with my dad because he loves his bikes.
Does it? Oh, yeah, you've got all the bikes at all, of course. Yeah.
Really good stuff. Lots of festivals to go through as well. Speaking of festivals and Boomtown, I mentioned Boomtown, didn't I? A regular listener.
I'm going to put my hat on from the boys today. Look,
get it on. Get the hat on.
Optimum.
I like that. Let's get it on.
One today.
You look good with a hat on, Pards.
Looks right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks good. Regular listener of the show, right? And this is how he's quoted our show. You guys are like my drive home from weekend gigging comfort blanket.
Ah, that's a lovely thing to say.
It's from my good friend Eats Everything.
He eats everything. Oh, that's his name.
That's his DJ name. Eats Everything.
No.
Yeah.
Eats everything.
Eats Everything.
Why did he come up with that name? Do you know the reason, or do you know him? Do you know this guy?
Yeah.
Right. Why did he come up with that name?
Well, he's a bigger lad like me.
Oh, and he eats everything.
Well, and he plays everything as well.
Oh, okay.
No, but he is an amazing DJ.
Is he?
Yeah.
Up and coming, or
no, legend.
Why don't you?
Of anything, mate. Oh, dearie me. Moving on swiftly.
Oh, I watched that documentary the other night. Yeah, terrible. But he used to do the
But yeah, I think eats everything. Do you know what? Actually, our way in is he sometimes has a stage at Glastonbury. Sometimes he has a little takeover.
What do you mean?
Like his own party. He's got a party called History of Rave.
Right.
He'd love Imagine Par's DJ set.
Oh, and he does it at Glastonbury?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He has one of the tents.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He does a takeover.
Yeah, well, we're in.
Eats Imagine Pards back to back.
Give my agent a call. Well, keep the price down.
Big shout out to Eats Everything, and also my fellow DJs who listen to talkSPORT on the way home, because lots of them do. And I tell
you, we're accumulating a lot of golfing fans because of my participation in the golf game.
Oh, nice.
I've had a lot of nice compliments.
We've got a bit of golf on now as well, haven't we?
Yeah, Scheffler is obviously the number one, and he's winning at the moment.
Right, let's go over to Mark, the Arsenal fan. He was at the game today. Hello, Mark.
Hi, how you doing? You good?
Are you going to be singing any songs this afternoon like our first Arsenal caller did?
No, I'm not going to do that. But I've got to say is that I didn't fancy us this year for some reason. I go every game home way Europe. I'm quite a sensible guy in my 50s. Been going for a lot of years, and I just felt that we limped over the line for the last 3 months, and I thought we would struggle with the pressure. I know we've only played a friendly today, and it doesn't really count, but the only thing I have taken from it, we're just stuck in traffic, by the way. It's absolutely horrendous getting up and getting back.
It's a difficult journey, that, isn't it? Yeah.
We're not even out of Wales yet. We're still in Wales. But the thing I realised was just how big our squad is. It's when you're bringing them on, taking them off, the quality is just incredible. To not play Deck for a while, bring him on, you've got Zubi, and then you've got obviously Gamarish come on now. Everywhere we look is just quality. And I think maybe we could just go again. I know no one says we can because of the pressure will get too much to us and stuff like that. And we are quite dull, I get that. But I just think the quality is there to go on, and it's up to us to,
Mark,
to take it as far as we want.
What you said about the being quite dull, I just think Arteta got it over the line. And, it's funny that I'm a Spurs fan and I've actually stuck up for Arteta in this instance, because when Arsenal were playing free-flowing football and played really good, attractive football, it was, they don't have the backbone to get it over the line. You found a backbone, you got it over the line, and people are like, but it's boring. Listen, I think now you've got that sort of proverbial monkey off your back. You're going to be able to sort of dictate the way that you play and how you want to play. And one thing that I really do rate...
freedom up.
Yeah, I do rate with Arteta is he's got all of those lads buying into the philosophy and the culture and the DNA of Arsenal. And that, for me, as a Spurs fan, scary.
Listen, I want to come back to a very, very important point.
Go for it.
Talking about the squad size.
Yes.
This isn't about a one good window team.
No, exactly.
This is why you have continuity when you have a manager who's dictating who's coming in and who's going out. You have 4 or 5 good windows to get to the squad you get to. And when you do that, then you've got a tight team that can win the title. And if you look at the history of Man United under Alex Ferguson, when he had that continuity, in Arsenal before that, under Arsene Wenger, particularly the early years, they just kept building with good windows. What I kept saying to you about Spurs, where they kept falling down, having a really awful window in between a couple of okay windows, that's a disaster. You've got to keep building. The windows have got to get better and better and better. And this year, I still think the business he's done has been terrific. I really do so far, and I still think there's work to be. I still think there'll be a player coming in.
Well, the other thing that Arteta and Arsenal have done well in recent years is moving players on at the right time.
Correct.
And like, for example, Trossard was excellent.
When I
for
talk
Arsenal.
about good windows, I'm not talking about just ins.
Ins and outs as well, because that affects your squad size, doesn't it?
Of course.
And just to like echo what Mark's been saying in terms of like their squad depth. They've bought Premier League proven players at the right times, like they did with Declan, and they've gone with Bruno this time. Captain of Newcastle. They got the captain of West Ham out.
It was available at the right price, and they paid. When I say the right price, a really big price. Yeah. And they've gone, we'll pay it. And I'm going to give you another example of bad windows. Right, 2 on the trot, Newcastle. Right, 2 on the trot. Look at the 2 last. The 2 summer windows they've had have been like. How could you lose that kind of quality? And then. What you're replacing them with 20-year-olds? Good luck up there, by the way. I think that's going to be a tough ride up there.
Yeah,
Newcastle.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Adam. He's a West Ham fan. He was at the game today. Hello, Adam.
You all right, guys?
Yeah, very well indeed. And what did you make of that sort of capitulation?
Do you know what? I've seen it time and time again last season. There's 2 ways that I've looked at it. And it was either Nuno's resorting to that, which he done multiple times last year. We go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and then think he can hold on for 60-odd minutes. Only he thought he could hold on for 45 minutes. I don't know whether he's been to Turf Moor before. It's hostile.
Yeah.
You ain't going to hold on for 45 minutes away at Burnley. And unfortunately, as much as people, Pablo isn't that good, he's good in the air. He wins the balls.
Yep, he does. He wins that first ball contact, doesn't he?
Every time in that first half, and that's how we dominated the game in the first half. As soon as he come off, there was no one to win those heads, and it just kept going backwards all the time. So the two ways I've looked at it, he's either resorting to time, or he's trying to send a message like he did back in December to the ownership of the club that the players he's got available to him ain't good enough. Because that bench, we can't go 46 games with that bench. No way. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, the juxtaposition, Ad, because obviously we've just been talking Arsenal and the strength and depth they've got, and you're right with West Ham. Your squad's paper thin.
I mean, if we have an injury to Tatty, we've got no striker, and that's a worrying thought, because you can play Bow in there, but every time he's been played there, he's not good enough. He's better at and more effective from the wing.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
He's null and void in the centre half. Which again, Nuno played him down the centre in the second half today, and yeah, it was terrible. And the goal was coming.
It was coming.
Crossbar, they had one off the line.
Yeah. And what nearly come was a winning goal, wasn't it, as well? I mean, they had a great opportunity. I want to go back to what you were saying about, the squad's a bit thin. I would say it's definitely thin. The ownership is a bit of a worry, isn't it? That there was a bit of turmoil up there. Amanda's obviously come in to try and buy it. There's a counter bid from the owner who's in at the moment. You've got Sullivan in the background. So whether they're making, they've got the action to bring players in would be a worry for me, and probably Nuno would be concerned about that, I should think.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But the two things that's worrying myself, and I've heard it from rumours at the club, that Bowen staying at the club was on what Krasinski had offered him. He went out to Prague, spoke with Yuri and Krasinski. They agreed to the deal that he'd stay on for one more year. And then we were told, it was breaking news on Sky Sports News, that Krasinski was going to become the majority shareholder of the club.
Correct. I remember that.
Buy the gold shares. That's not happened. In the meantime, Staley's come in, which I think has affected Krasinski investing money, because I think the way he's probably looking at it is, why am I going to invest in a club if she's going to become the majority shareholder?
Interesting.
And from that, we've done nothing.
That's a good point, Pard. Do you reckon that might have something to play? Because, just like you said, the
good.
Uncertainty.
Yeah, I'm just talking from the point I was trying to get across was from a manager's mindset, right? If you're the manager of West Ham, you got a massive problem here. Who is your boss? You've got potentially three bosses there, probably all giving you slightly different messages about what they want to do with a club
and what's going to happen.
Yeah, and what is going to happen under their stewardship, and etc. etc. How can you kind of get your philosophy it cemented in place? I want to go down this route. Okay, well, when we want to, so I do think it's difficult when you've got, an owner that's been in situ for a while. He's always got an opinion and the finances, etc., etc. When you've got three, wow, good luck with that.
Well, if you are on that long journey home, West Ham fans do.
Well, that is a long journey, by the way.
Yeah, your former gaffers here.
Yeah.
Genuinely, right? I'd love to see West Ham bounce straight back up. I like, you know what it is.
They're a class apart. They are.
People laugh because I'm a Spurs fan, but see, I have no qualm with West Ham. Never have done. Maybe because I've got so many friends at West Ham. But I think
you got to be East End, in you. To be fair.
I'm North London now.
I know you're North London, but you got a bit of East in you.
I'm one of those people that I'm allowed in the East End. I get a bloy.
Yeah,
I get a bloy down.
I'm a Southerner, and I get the old.
Yeah, he's all right, that one. Guess what? Next, we're going to be breaking a big transfer story.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And we're going to be
I hope
discussing...
it involves one of my former clubs, does it?
I'll tell you shortly. And we're going to discuss the manager merry-go-round because there's loads on that merry-go-round.
Yeah,
Off and on they go. It's the Final Word Phone-In on talkSPORT.
Another one or two players in Man United in with a shout at the title. What do you think, Gabby?
No, I think Champions League will take a lot out of that squad of players. I look at right backs, Mazraoui, Dalot, not good enough. Centre backs, they need cover there as well. Shesko, listen, he done okay last season, double figures. He's got to be at it this season. They've got a very good squad of players, Jeff, but if they don't get 2 or 3 top players in certain roles, I don't think they can fight for the title. I think top 4 again and get out the group stage of the Champions League will be a very good season.
Yeah, I mean, they've not been too busy in the transfer market, to say the least. They've brought in Yuri Tielemans, they've brought in Andre Santos. Ben Foster thinks one of those is the signing of the summer.
I still think Yuri Tielemans is the signing so far.
What a bit of business that is.
What a bit of business.
Yeah.
Honestly, I genuinely still think I'm watching a load of transfers happen and, you know, Tottenham spending a lot of money and Arsenal just spent a lot of money. I still think Yuri Tielemans is the signing of the summer so far. For 30-odd million quid, whatever it was, he is a ready-made, good-to-go starting 11 player. And I think if you can spend £30 million on a ready-to-go starter, it is worth every single penny.
Yeah. And I agree with him. I think Yuri Tielemans is going to be one of the signings of the summer. But when I look at that midfield, talent is Tielemans and Bruno Meno and Andre Santos. You know, that's just too thin on the ground, isn't it? They need more than that.
You know, players get injured as well. And where's their real defensive midfielder? I know Andre Santos has been...
Formula One. It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across the social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Good evening, it's the Final Word phone in with me, Majestic, alongside legendary football gaffer Alan Pardew. Looking slick in his cap, I like it. Thank you for all your calls so far. The phone lines are open, 03717 22344. In the next hour, we'll be discussing the manager merry-go-round, and the Premier League welcomes a host of new bosses. Yellow cards for shirt-off celebrations, and we will still want your first festivals. That's all coming soon on the Final Word on talkSPORT. Right. But let's start with a big breaking transfer story. And here's talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, joins us on the Final Word. How are you, Crookie?
Here he is.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm at a hotel in Cardiff, so hopefully the Wi-Fi will hold firm. But yeah, big story coming out of Manchester City tonight, not just their Community Shield defeat to Arsenal that I know you've been dissecting, but Rodri to Barcelona. Done deal. Fee agreed with the Spanish giants. £65 million. The end of an era for Rodri at Manchester City. He is on his way to the camp now. This was the figure that Manchester City, I think, always wanted to hit for a player in the last year of his contract. Negotiations with Barcelona, I'm told, have been really amicable. Obviously, there's still a couple of weeks of the window remaining for Manchester City to source potential replacements. We believe that Ayoub Bouadi, the Moroccan international, had such a good World Cup, will be coming in from Lille. And I still think Enzo Fernandez to Manchester City is very much alive, despite Chelsea saying that he is no longer for sale after that hard deadline of 5 o'clock on Friday for bids to come in.
Well, like you used that word replacement, Crookie, didn't you? But Rodri replacement, it doesn't happen, does it, Pards? How do you replace Rodri?
You got Anderson. He's the replacement.
Yeah, but in terms of...
They're going to bring in an offensive midfield.
Yeah, but in terms of replacing him, like the loss, as you said. You know,
different level.
And Crookie, you mentioned that our deadline that Chelsea put in place now, it was always going to be on the moving parts of this deal happening to Barcelona. What do you reckon about that Fernandez deal going back on? And obviously he had a bit of a mixed reception playing at the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure the Chelsea hierarchy would have been overly enamoured with that. If your own fans are booing a player who clearly wants to leave, it's probably only going to strengthen his resolve. But I always thought that once Manchester City had agreed a deal for Tijani Reinders, and it looks like he's going to leave the football club, and Rodri, those two transfer fees combined would basically pave the way for Enzo Fernandez deal to happen. I know Chelsea have said that the window is closed as far as they're concerned and that Fernandez will be their player for this season. But if Manchester City meet the asking price, we know it's £120 million. I think that resolve will be tested. And I think Enzo Fernandez fancies linking up with his former manager, Enzo Maresca, at Manchester City. And based on what we saw today, you know, Mateo Kovacic has been a great servant for the football club. He's had a great career in England. I think they do need fresh legs in that midfield area, Manchester City.
In terms of what it means for Barcelona, Crookie, of course, winning the Liga last year, they've kind of done a bit of an Arsenal, haven't they? They're strengthening whilst they're at the top because this is a huge coup for them.
Yeah, and you have to remember at one stage, it looked like Real Madrid were leading the charge for Rodri, and Barcelona have come in, they've put their money on the table. So I think this is a significant signing for Barcelona because we know it's been a very active transfer window for Real Madrid. Jose Mourinho returning and really being backed by the hierarchy. So I think the title race in Spain is going to be absolutely fascinating. I think if you said to Manchester City fans at the end of last season, when Rodri obviously was struggling with injury, that the time is right to cash in, they probably would have agreed. But then you see how well he played at the World Cup. Spain win that tournament. He was player of the tournament. I think he'll go with a lot of Manchester City fans. Very sad now. I was just looking at his CV, actually nearly 200 Premier League appearances for City, 4 Premier League titles, a couple of FA Cups, 3 League Cups, a Champions League, a Super Cup, a FIFA Club World Cup. He's a great, isn't he? And they've lost Bernardo Silva this summer. They've lost John Stones. These are big characters. Maresca is going to replace, and of course, Pep Guardiola himself.
Crookie, in terms of, like you mentioned, it looked like Real Madrid were sort of the favourites, and it's kind of like he hinted towards sort of a Madrid move. Do you think his nose was put out of joint a little bit by the Diamandi deal in terms of he wasn't their first priority of getting like a signing over the line, and of course then all the stuff with Vinny Jr. getting that done? Do you think maybe that's why the Barcelona thing came into play?
Yeah, I think players have egos. Pards will testify to that, and obviously Rodri has felt the love of Barcelona. They've honed in on him and got this deal done very quickly. And maybe Real Madrid dragging his heels, he saw that as a bit of a smack in the face. But it's a nice position to be in, isn't it? You can stay at Manchester City for another year, keep playing in the Premier League, obviously on decent wages for one of the top clubs in this country. You can maybe go to Real Madrid, or if that doesn't work out, you can join Barcelona. It's not a terrible dilemma that he's having.
Not at all. Crookie, thanks so much. Brilliant stuff there Our head football
Cheers, guys.
correspondent, Alex Critter, breaking the news that Rodri, no longer a Manchester City player. He goes to La Liga, to Barcelona, the champions Barcelona, I must add.
Yeah, and I've got to say that I think it's good for European and for the Premier League that the two clubs, the two big clubs in Spain, are really making moves. You know, Barcelona winning it with Yamal up the top of the pitch, and now with Rodri joining that team, they're going to be a real significant threat again. And obviously, Jose back at Real Madrid with some good signings. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be that's going to be a good watch.
Champions League will be brilliant, won't they?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, Real Madrid, they're in so far. Diamande, Cucurella, Dumfries, Bernardo Silva. Like, you know,
Vinicius Junior re-signing.
Yeah, that's like a new sign in itself, isn't it? But Manchester City fans, to lose Rodri, Pep Guardiola, John Stones,
Silva,
Pep. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. The big names. How do you feel it's going to be rebuilding that dressing room? We have seen it, haven't we? I know, ironically, I think when Klopp left Liverpool, he left them in such a good position that they went and won the league, right? With Arne Slot. You've got to give Arne Slot the credit. It was his team. He was the manager. You must give him the credit, right?
Yeah. But he changed the way they played too.
He left Liverpool in a really good place, right? I think Klopp did.
Yeah.
I think when Alex Ferguson left Manchester United,
well, everybody says that, but it was only because it wasn't. You wasn't. You remember he had retired and come back.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he had planned.
No, I'm not saying that he planned it, but what I'm saying is
it wasn't the greatest United team. That I think everybody's clear on that. This Manchester City team has really had a bomb dropped on it, hasn't it? In terms of this transfer,
a metaphorical bomb, absolutely. Yeah.
In terms of the manager going, some real key massive influences in the dressing room, as well as great players.
And you've got to look at Rodri as almost the standard bearer of and the sort of trendsetter of that midfield player that controls the game, can start the play. That this is why we're seeing midfielders going for the money that they are now in that position.
The reasoning was so good, right? Not so much that his passing obviously was outstanding, but out of possession, he had a tremendous ability, a bit like Bobby Moore for England and West Ham, of reading the outball. Wherever that outball went, he was first.
Mm-hmm.
When he's looking at the opposition, how are they going to get it out? How are they going to clear it? Where's their pass? And he'd intercept it,
mm-hmm.
or he'd win a tackle or win a header, and off they went again.
Yeah.
So that was what he was brilliant at. And when he wasn't there, they still had the passer. They still could do the same kind of routines, but they wasn't as rigid. They wasn't as safe without him. And of course, Declan does it for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And so much that he plays in the 8 role, but he still does that part of it too at times. So it's a really important ingredient of that number 6. And I think Caicedo at Chelsea doesn't do it quite as well.
Yeah. Caicedo's a great player, but
he doesn't do it quite as well. And I don't think he does it as well as Anderson, actually. Anderson's probably the best English player at that particular skill.
Yeah.
And that's why he's at Manchester City.
Well, it's breaking news. Barcelona, they seal the signing of Rodri from Manchester City. 03717 223344. Man City fans, let us know your feelings about that huge Rodri news. That number again, 03717 223344. You're listening to The Final Word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas.
We're going to get the pen lady on.
Oh, yeah.
Jill.
Yeah.
She'll be rattling that phone.
Well, as a Man United fan, happy to see him gone. It all starts with a spin. 18 plus, gamblingaware.org.
Gabby Bungler joined myself and Drive on Monday. I asked him if he thought Arsenal are to win the league.
Yeah, I do, yeah. I think it's done, mate.
Do you?
Yeah.
What, you think it's over?
Yeah, it's over, mate.
Really?
Yeah. They're that strong, man. They went and brought in Guimaraes as well, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I hear you, right, and I probably don't want to admit it yet.
Yeah.
We ain't even kicked a ball.
I know.
They're the only settled football club in the league.
Exactly.
Right? That's what they've got going for it. What do you make of that? Do do you feel like look, you're an Arsenal fan? They had a great season last season.
Yeah.
Are they? They're the team to beat.
I think of course they're the Premier League champions. They're the favourites, but I wouldn't sit here today, no chance, and say, it's ours easy. No way whatsoever, because there's so many factors last season. I mean, Arsenal finally got over the line. They played a productive way that maybe for some people, I didn't actually mind it. I quite enjoyed watching it, but there were some people that said that they stunk the place out in terms of the way that they played the game, but they did what they needed to get over the line.
Well, they did stink the place out.
Well, no, you didn't.
Well, they did.
How?
Well, they stunk the Premier League out.
You can't stink it out and win it.
No, you can.
No, you can stick it out and finish fourth bottom. Hey, I'll tell you that. You can do that.
You did stink it out. Like, you brought the level of fun down in the Premier League.
For a Gooner, it wasn't.
Ah, come on. It was turgid, some of the football.
Listen, I loved it, right?
Did you really? You'd hate to play in that team.
No, I wouldn't. What, Premier League winners medal? I wouldn't.
You want to see a bit more exciting football.
People say
like, come on, you've won it now.
Right,
Arteta's won it. Play a bit more exciting stuff.
People say that, right? Arsenal still scored 71 goals in the league last year. Only Man City scored.
Bit of Jimi Hendrix on a Sunday night. Why not? We've been talking festivals today, Pards. And do you know who's back on the way home from a festival? Is Dave from the Artful Dodger.
Okay.
I told you the DJ's listening. He said, hope you're well, mate. Just on my way back from Jurassic Fields Festival in Dorset.
Jurassic what?
Jurassic Fields Fest.
Okay.
Regarding West Ham, everyone's saying that we're going to walk the championship. I don't think we will, unless we sign some more players. We need to sign Troy Parrott ASAP, the former Spurs striker.
I tried to sign him myself.
As we are lacking majorly in that department. Also, I think we should get rid of Nuno. I don't think he's the right man for the job in the championship.
There's a lot of negativity around Nuno. Maybe it's just today's game. I don't know, because the sub and the obviously conceding 2 late goals.
And I must also say a happy birthday to Dave. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Drive safely, my friend.
Yeah, I think it's important that fan base stays solid there, because you don't want to get negativity.
A lot of my friends who are West Ham fans are not into Nuno. And that's just from the people that I know. We have got new managers in the Premier League.
We have
5 brand new Premier League managers, by the way. They're brand new to the Premier League, by the way, these managers. There's 9 new managers in total, including Maresca, Iriola, O'Neill and Glasner as well. They're at new clubs. And, of course, it's Roberto De Zerbi's first full season at Spurs. So, technically, it's 10 new managers.
Incredible.
Right,
first to show you, a bit like the current Prime Minister's tenure. Doesn't last long. Football is getting less and less. The Premiership Prime Minister of Great Britain is getting less and less.
Is there?
So is the managers of Premier League.
Is there a correlation between all of that and social media?
Correct.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
The noise is just amplified now, isn't it?
Yeah, there is so much noise, and I do feel sorry for a lot of young players who are coming across the noise for the first time, the negativity about their performances, etc., and you can't hide from it, can you? There's nowhere to go, because even if you kind of go, right, I'm just not going to have it on my phone, as soon as you bump into someone, they tell you anyway.
Yeah.
So there's no escape from it.
Oh, we know ourselves on here. If you say the wrong thing,
yeah, of course,
you get told.
Yeah.
About yourself, and
yeah. Or you get a message from someone who's yeah.
And it's just that people forget people are human and they make mistakes. But as a manager of a Premier League club, mistakes can be very few and far between, or you will lose your job. So, Pards, what advice do you have for these new managers in the Premier League?
I think the advice I would give them is really concentrate on the group that you have. I think a lot of managers, particularly managers who come from abroad, kind of take it for granted the professionalism of an English player, and they don't work on it enough. They kind of focus on the game plan. They focus on the opposition. They set up a great game plan to win the game, and yet the mentality to reach a player, to lift him, to make him play better, to free him up maybe if he's a bit tight. I think that's where they fall down a little bit. So I think my piece of advice would be concentrate on your dressing room, your personalities in your dressing room, get them very much on your side, get them buying into what you're doing, and don't worry too much about the opposition, set plays, and everything else that goes around winning a Premier League game.
Well, we got to talk about one of the great sides that won the Premier League in Leicester when they won it with the gaffer, with the Ranieri, right?
Who was an expert at that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Won the Premier League with, Wes Morgan, Huth, etc. These players all bought into it. And that team, as a collective, as a team, it was just so right.
It worked so well. But, his management of that group was brilliant.
That's what I'm saying.
And the way he kept playing, everyone kept saying, they're going to get tired. Very similar team, one or two changes. He didn't really throw 3 or 4 names off, the agenda. It was always the same players, same Vardy at the top of the pitch, half at centre back.
And as you said, didn't worry about the opposition, focused on him
back.
And his group.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simpson the right back.
And you are, particularly at the Premier League level, you are managing massive egos. And those egos have a vulnerability about them. Don't think they're always strong egos. Like they come in the dressing room, I'm this, I'm that. They're not all like that. Some of them are very, very, very weak around their confidence, and you need to really keep tabs of that. And I think the language barrier is a bit of a problem there too. But anyway, that's
why, to talk about managers of years gone by, and I've had colleagues on here and friends like, for example, Darren Ambrose, who used to play under the great Sir Bobby Robson, and he just talked about that man management and just those little words of encouragement, like, there's a reason I signed your son, and the belief and that name still. There's almost this.
I'm going to give you an example of that. Right, this would be my perfect example. When I bump into an old player that I've managed, they'll, all right, Pards, how you did it, and they'll come up with a memory, right? But they never come up with a memory about what about the setup of the team that we had when we beat Ipswich or we beat Man United.
Yeah.
That setup you gave was great. Forget, they don't even remember the tactics or anything, the work that you put in. All they remember is the moment that you touch them. What about that game when you subbed me? And to be fair, I needed to be subbed. You saved me that day. I'll never forget you for that. Or you put me on at that time, or you played me when I was struggling. I'll never forget that. That's what they remember. And when you listen to the old football players on here, they
correct.
When do they ever say, it was brilliant, we put us in a 4 and a 5 and a 1 and the block was unbelievable, no one could get through us?
Well, I was with Charlie Austin the other week on the Sports Bar, and that was ahead of us having Daishi when he was on for you last week. And Charlie Austin, Daishi, what a guy. This is what he talked to. Those people, when they hear talk about their ex-managers, there's a connection with them. Now, that brings me nicely because it's Roberto De Zerbi's first full season at Spurs. Now, you mentioned this off air. This week, he invited Spurs legends down to Hotspur Way.
It's a good move.
And there was a lunch between the current squad and those legends. And they were watching like the UEFA Cup final from '84, Alan Nielsen scoring against Leicester in the which was the Worthington Cup at the time. All of this different stuff. And for me, seeing him connect players with the club like that, I thought was brilliant. And again, I hate because I get crucified by my Spurs friends for this when I'm bigging up Arsenal too much. But Arteta, the job he'd done at Arsenal has been fantastic because Arsenal were lost. They were lost. Because they had the Emirates situation of paying that back and they were losing their best players every season with finances and stuff. And with Wenger, when you look back now with hindsight, Wenger did an incredible job to keep them in the top 4 consistently. And then they kind of lost their way a bit. Arteta went in there, found people like Saka as well, young kids coming through, made them the heartbeat of the football club, got the fans back on side, and they've gone on to do what they do. Spurs, and I said this, when you bring in Jose Mourinho, when you bring in Conte, it will strip away the DNA of the football club, and that will come to fruition within a couple of years as they pass because we've lost our identity, so to speak. One thing I'm seeing with De Zerbi is, and it's a perfect storm, because do you rate De Zerbi as a manager? He's not done anything of proper note yet, has he?
I do, because I think he has that I do think he has a good touch in the dressing room.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm talking about.
But he hasn't really proved himself yet.
No,
right?
perhaps not. No.
But nor have Spurs done in recent times. We're not won a league or anything like that,
17th,
right?
twice, 2 years.
Yeah,
running.
exactly. So we got a lot to prove. Yeah.
He's only going to go up, isn't he? So
No, but what I'm saying is, when we had Conte and Mourinho, it's like having a beautiful partner who's always going, I could leave you at any point because I'm better than you. That's what we had. This relationship between De Zerbi and Spurs, which I'm seeing so far, the fact that we've let Jed Spence go and Cuti Romero, both very good football players, but clearly for him, if you're not buying into what he wants to do, even if you're like, look, I want guaranteed minutes, and he goes, I can't give you that. I like the way that he's operating. And what I'm bringing it all back round to is what you're saying is he seems to have that in him. And the fact that Van Heck has come from Brighton to join him, and when I've heard Solly March talk about him, when I hear Sandro talk about De Zerbi because he was his captain.
Well, it's enough for Spurs.
Stop! Don't bring that agenda up.
I've got your point.
Stop it, you.
Let's go to the other managers, right?
Throw me under the bus, you.
no, I wouldn't. I'd never throw you under the bus. Newcastle's manager, right? He worries me a little bit.
Geisler.
He's young. You've taken out of there a very experienced Premier League manager in Eddie Howe. I know they didn't take him out. He's taken himself out, but they've replaced him with somebody who doesn't know the Premier League, who's managed in Saudi Arabia, which is a vastly different league to the Premier League. That worries me. That appointment. Arbeloa at Fulham worries me a little bit.
Yeah, Arbeloa.
Arbeloa, how'd you say it? Arbeloa, right?
I always just think of when he used to be on FIFA, Arbeloa.
That period at the end with Real Madrid worried me a little bit. His connection with the players there, but that could have been completely out of his control. I hope he does well because I think obviously it's my club, so I'm looking for that. PSA's got a hell of a job to follow Glasner. I mean, wow, good luck with that. Marco Rose at Bournemouth, appointed early. Good clubs, big clubs. You'd like to think he's got good experience. I think he could do well at Bournemouth. But the two that I really am looking forward to seeing how they. You're talking about De Zerbi. I think that's a very interesting story. I'm looking forward to that Spurs unfold. But Liverpool, for me, Areola, I think he's proven he has the personal touch with individual players. I like that. I think he could do very, very well. And Alonso, they're the two I'm really looking at to say, well, come on then. Can you really offer up Arsenal a big challenge here? And I hope they can.
And I think the Xabi Alonso one's really exciting because of the team that he has. Especially the buyer, the Rodgers. The front three of Chelsea is ridiculous.
Well,
I know Cundy's been saying that they can win the league, and they can win the league. That is not a ludicrous statement. Chelsea could win the league next season because of what they have. If he gets it right and is able to do what he did at Bayer Leverkusen, they've got every chance of winning the league. And the fact that he's gone in there and brought in Jordan Henderson and Danny Welbeck, etc., I just think from the office, that's a genius move. And it also shows that he's in control.
Yeah, that definitely shows that. I'll be interested. I think they're going to go. I think he'll go to that Leverkusen style.
Yes,
at the
I
back.
agree.
And that'll be interesting to see how he converts that. Palace did it so well and won 3 trophies on the back of that system. So it'll be interesting. That definitely works in the Premier League. So that'll be interesting. But Areola at the Liverpool. Can he get that mighty machine operating?
Their defence still worries me. They're defensively, I think they're weak, and it's it can't all be on Virgil van Dijk's shoulders all the time.
Yeah, but Virgil van Dijk for me is a bit of the problem. To be fair, last year he had some games where he might as well have been in here with us. He really was that bad at times. Like he couldn't be bothered. I wouldn't. That's unfair to put that on him. But for whatever motivation that drove him to be the great player, and
he is a great player.
A great player. Is he Dutch captain? Well, anyway.
Yeah.
You're talking about a legend of a player. But last year, he didn't look focused.
Something was amiss.
There was definitely something going on there.
Yeah. But we'll see. It's exciting, isn't it? We'll be taking calls at the back of Newcastle and Liverpool.
What do you think Spurs are going to finish? Go on. Let's have it now.
Spurs have to...
I'm going to write it down.
Okay, Spurs have to...
I've got the Stuart Pearce. You've gone for 25 festivals. I've gone for 76. I think I've won that by a mile.
We'll find out from Pearce. Is someone going to message him for us?
Yeah, we'll get the answer to that. And Spurs are going to finish where?
They're going to finish 6th.
Okay.
We're going to finish in the European places.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
No,
personally.
no, it's not. I think we should aim to get in the Europa League for next season.
And Young Moore scored
2.
You always shout at his corner, to be fair.
Very good young player.
Do you think he was a starter? No.
We'll see, because obviously in terms of transfers, I'm sure Crookie and Ben Jacobs will have more on this week. The Savinho and Gakpo deals apparently won't go away. And apparently Spurs want Savinho, Gakpo and 1 centre forward.
Wow.
So we'll see. 03717 223344. Next week we'll be taking your calls off the back of Newcastle against Liverpool next Sunday at 6:30. Yasla versus Iriola on the final word next Sunday.
Yeah, look.
The way he was bullying Pacho, he was terrorising that defence. Did he miss chances? Yes, he did. Players at 25 will miss chances, never mind 17. He's going to learn a lot. I don't think you can start saying now he's the next striker after Harry Kane, but you know what you need to do now, Jeff? If I'm the FA, I am fast-tracking him, because Luxembourg, no, he's not going to choose Luxembourg, but Cameroon, parents are from Cameroon. They'll be looking at him right now saying, we want to get him in the squad for the Cameroon, get him playing a competitive qualifier so that he can't play for England. So maybe fast track him.
He's made it pretty clear that he wants to play for England, hasn't he?
Yeah, but you never know, do you? There's so many players. I was in that position where I could have played for Scotland, Nigeria, through my parents. His parents are Cameroonian. So if I'm the England setup now, he's been called up to under 17s for friendlies this month. Yeah. I'm fast tracking him even to the 21s. Not straight away now, Jeff, but let's see how he does over the next 2 or 3 months. It won't surprise me if he gets fast-tracked to the 21s. And Thomas Tuchel, the FA, are looking at it and saying, okay, do we get him into the squad? Do we get him a cap in a qualifier, a Nations League game, so that he has to play for England? Because after Harry Kane, how many strikers do we look at and say, whoa, he's the next Harry Kane? I agree. They shouldn't put pressure on him now that he's going to be our next striker after Harry Kane. But that performance last night, even though it's only 60, 70 minutes, he was fantastic. And maybe if he continues...
What a tune. Foo Fighters, My Hero. Such a great record.
Is that the sort of fair, like, lead guitarist bloke?
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Legend.
He's British.
No, he's American. You know what band he was in before, didn't you?
No, go on.
Nirvana.
Was he?
He was the drummer.
Okay. Drummer?
He was the drummer in Nirvana.
What? And then turn into an amazing guitarist?
Guitarist, singer, songwriter, everything, yeah.
Amazing.
But there are lots of people like that, like multi-instrumentalists.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
yourself.
yeah, and Dave Grohl, same Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, drummed on the Queens of the Stone Age album, Songs for the Deaf. Songs for the Dead, sorry. And
Songs for the Dead?
Yeah, Songs for the Dead.
Oh, dear.
He drummed on it, and it was the most epic drum performance of all time. They actually performed together at Glastonbury 2002.
Ask me my favourite drummer. You'll never get it in a million years.
Phil Collins.
I can give you 2 more goes. You ain't going to get anywhere near it. Go on.
Okay, go on. Dave Grohl.
No. Stuart Pearce is ringing me.
Oh, welcome back. We got Stuart Pearce on the line. Hold him up to the mic. Tell him he's live on air.
No, I can't because he might not know we're on.
Okay. Message him and say you're on air. Yeah, that's just how it happens. You've got...
No, because I messaged him, haven't I?
You've got Stuart Pearce ringing the gaffer. Yeah.
Spearsy.
I love it.
Karen
Love
Carpenter.
radio. Oh, amazing drummer. Amazing drummer. If you didn't hear parts, Karen Carpenter, one incredible... Wow, what a sad story that was.
Yeah, but...
One incredible musician.
That voice still, like, it's almost... I don't know, it's right through me.
Yeah,
That's the word.
It haunts you. It's a beautiful voice.
Beautiful voice. Like an angel singing.
Yeah. Yeah, just great music.
Yeah.
Do you know what song I've been listening to a lot lately? Do you remember the band Bread?
Yes.
Yeah. Everything I Own. What a great record.
Give me a quick first couple.
Well, we'll try and get it up because there was a reggae cover by Ken Booth that came out as well. I sound about 87 with some of my musical takes tonight. Right, anyway, we're talking music because we've been asking you about your first festivals. We've got lots of people getting involved. We've had some of the biggest DJs in the world messaging us. We've had some amazing messages from you guys as well about your first festivals. The message coming about the Queens of the Stone Age album, Songs for the Deaf, absolutely. Because you know what? On the same album, there's a song called Songs for the Dead and Songs for the Deaf. That's why I was getting confused. But yeah, the album's called Songs for the Deaf.
Deaf.
Yeah. And on that album, I'm sure it's Songs for the Dead, which is the crazy record they always perform. A Song for the Dead, that's it. The one with Lanigan singing, which was great. If you're a Queens of the Stone Age fan, I went to see them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with System of a Down only last month. Unbelievable.
Full house?
Full house, yeah.
Another big payday for the Spurs board.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Right, Manchester United lost yesterday, mate.
Yeah.
In a friendly.
Still fancy Man United to do well, though. I don't think they're going to challenge for the title, but I think they're in and around that Champions League position, no problem.
Well, they lost 4-2 to AC Milan in a pre-season friendly. And who manages AC Milan, Pards?
Their old boss.
Absolutely. So he got one over on them, didn't he? Let's go and speak to
Amorim.
We're not going to speak to Amorim now.
Oh.
But we are going to speak to our sort of final word Man United resident.
She's almost as important as Amorim was.
She's more important than Amorim.
Okay.
Because she sent us presents. Let's get Jill on. Hello, Jill.
Good evening, Majestic. Good evening, Pards. How are you doing?
We are very well indeed. Pards has got his pen in his hand.
Poised.
Is he having fun with that pen?
Yeah, he's trying to catch it now.
It's actually, it is kind of infectious, that ball popping off the top.
Listen.
It's like a Blackpool thing.
Amorim got one over in you, Jill. Must make you sick.
It didn't make me totally sick, no, but I just think it's a pre-season friendly, and I think the proof will be in the pudding when we start the proper game, proper Premier League next week, against Hull. So I'm not too bothered. But I want to ask Pars, what did you think about the end of the game where the players were all going up and chatting to him, except for Mainu, Rashford and Dalot, who went to the opposite end of the pitch? What did you think about that?
Well, that's a typically, an example of what happens at a football club. You can't win all the battles. At some point, when you're not playing players, they lose heart in you. They don't think you're with them, and they become antagonistic, and they don't want nothing to do with you. And he won't be the first or the last manager that happens to. And I'm sure Alex Ferguson, the great Alex Ferguson, will tell you that he had it with himself. It does happen. I still think that, most of the dressing room would have probably, loved him as a person. Okay, the results, the choices probably didn't work out, but as a human being, I think he's a decent chap.
I liked him as a person, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think he was great when he first got there, and he talked a good talk. But the players that we had didn't fit into that system, and he was so stubborn, he just would not change it.
No, that's correct. I agree with all of that.
Yeah. And this is the thing we've been talking about, Jill, with those managers who care more about the players rather than the system. That's where they find the most joy because, like Pards has been saying, no player goes, remember that 4-2-3-1 you played, Gaffer? I loved it. They talk about their lived experience. Because at the end of the day, Pards, this is, as much as you're sort of demigods to football fans, you're human beings and you're going to work with people that you want to be around, correct?
Correct. And, your relationship with players is a professional one, but it's also very, very personal. You go through some very, very difficult times. I've had players go through rehabilitation over drugs, alcohol, etc., etc., etc. Problems with their families, problems with leaving their wives, starting a second relationship, etc., etc. All those complications. You live for all that because they want to share it with you. They want to know your opinion of what they're doing. Are they doing the right thing? You have to offer them an honest assessment of all of that. And that's without all the football stuff. And not only that, man, you've got the staff too, where you've got all those issues going on.
Yeah.
You've got to manage.
I think you've just got to look at Sir Alex Ferguson and the kind of relationship he had with the players.
Yeah.
And I think, Michael, I'm happy with Carrick. Carrick's got that kind of personality with the players. I'm happy with that,
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with the league. But I agree with you. I think we hopefully Champions League spot. And I agree with Majestic, the Spurs as well. I think he'll get into 6 European spots.
Well, we've spent a lot of money, so I hope so. Speaking of spending money, Man United haven't been that busy in the transfer market.
I've been surprised.
Is that frustrating at all for you, Jill?
It's a bit of a concern, I've got to say, and I still think we're looking for a centre back for sure, a left back. Looking at Hall and Lewis Skelly, but are Newcastle going to let Hall go with all the players that they've lost? Lewis Skelly, possible option. I mean, he's a centre back, I think.
Yeah.
I think if Arsenal sell to Man United, Lewis Skelly, that's a problem. That would be strengthening Man United. I don't think they'd want to do that, surely.
Do you think, just quickly, Cons has been mentioned with a couple of clubs, hasn't he? What a signing he'd be for Man United. That's who they need.
Oh, 100%. If you could get Conser, I'd be well happy with that part.
A centre-back who can pass, is good, dominant in the air, gets you the odd goal from a set play. Aye, Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
There you go.
100%, yeah.
I'm surprised that Man United didn't look at Romero.
Well,
is that the problems because of the
I wouldn't have. If I was Michael, I wouldn't go near him. And I think that's why a lot of the big Premier League clubs left him alone, because he's a volatile character. He brings problems to your dressing room.
See, this is why I love this
doubt
conversation.
about that.
Because I've been having that argument in like my Spurs groups with people. I'm like, look, as good as the player is, look at the value he went for, and there wasn't that many suitors for him because of that whole reason.
Correct.
And you as a manager, you look at that, right?
Yeah, of course you are. You are looking at that because when you are bringing a big character and a World Cup winner into your team, you got to understand what is that player about. What that player about is he's an aggressive, volatile player who demands very, very great things. So you're gonna have to manage him very, very carefully. If you've got a dressing room that might be not so welcoming with a player like that, then you ain't going to bring him. That's without the indiscipline that he's shown in games at times. Not just against the opposition, by the way. I've seen him, give the odd snarl and the odd look to his fellow players. That never goes down well.
Thank you very much, Jill. Man United, of course, lost 4-2 in a friendly to AC Milan against them.
Nothing into that. Read nothing into that. Believe me.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about, friendlies and what they mean, if they mean anything at all. But the Community Shield, that's not a friendly. You see it as a friendly?
No, it's not a friendly, but I do think it is sort of treated as a kind of last game of the pre-match rather than the first game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well,
do you like the fact that the EFL got the Carabao Cup before the start of the season?
I thought it was a good idea, actually.
It gets jeopardy straight away.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that.
I think it kind of got everybody into gear, and there was some great games yesterday in the championship.
As we've already broke on the show, Rodri goes to Barcelona, and I'm no doubt there'll be conversations about that on the Trans Europe Express that's on After Us Tonight, Pards, because they'll be talking. That'll be a big talking point.
He'll be on the private jet now, on his way to one of the great cities of Europe, in my opinion.
Barcelona.
Fantastic.
Coming up next, we'll discuss rule changes. You're listening to the Final Word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. All your favourite games in one place. 18 plus, gamblingaware.org.
talkSPORT's Matt Scott, the guy who just heard doing the news there, talking absolute guff because he rattled some cages this morning on breakfast. He listed off the top 10 biggest clubs in the UK. He said Chelsea cheated their way to success, can't be in the top 10, and Spurs have never won a Champions League. So, and he's put them, he's not even in the top 10. They finished 17th for like 2 seasons in a row. I think you needs to remember that Nottingham Forest ain't been in the Premier League for about 15 seasons. So, anyway, Rory, we've asked you to do your top 10. What did you make just on Matt Scott's Chelsea not being in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, look, before we get into this, I think it's important that I just establish something very quickly. Matt Scott is my friend.
Yeah.
He's somebody who I rate incredibly highly. I think he's got a huge future, and I like him. It is one of the worst things I've ever heard in my entire life, though. All of that being said, now, I think we can just go for the jugular, be completely honest.
Yeah.
It gave me a migraine.
Yeah.
I feel like listening to that list...
Great tunes underneath us, UB40. Lots of people getting involved with the music festivals. Hi, Imagine Pards. My first music festival, 2004, The Strokes and Pixies are my best memory of it. I was only 7, so I have a lot to thank my mum for my musical taste. That's from Luke. Thank you very much, Luke. The Strokes, what a band they are. Pards, listen, just not everyone gets Stuart Pearce ringing them during their show, but you do. And Piercy gave you the numbers. So what's the numbers we predicted?
Okay. Well, when I think about it, I haven't thought this through, really. When he gave me the answer, I realised I've made a bit of a rick here because his answer was with 15 to 20.
You see how many festivals he's been to?
How many festivals he's been to, although he's been to hundreds of gigs.
Gigs, correct.
And then when I think about it logically, how can Stuart Pearce go to a festival, that man, get mobbed, you know what I mean, wherever he's going to walk around, he goes to those little gigs, isn't he, tucked away with his hat on.
Well, also, Piercy has a particular taste of music.
Okay, and festivals are what, more kind of...
No, like, you wouldn't catch him at a real poppy mainstream festival.
No,
it's not his bag.
Yeah.
He's got a really
plus,
good...
most of those festivals, he's in pre-season training, isn't he? Or he's in his work. So my 76 figure was ridiculous, and I apologise for that. You won, of course you did, with your 23.
Yeah.
Almost on the money.
Almost on the money, I can just tell. And, Stuart Pearce loves his music. I love the fact, speaking to people about their musical taste, just getting a personality
the thing
insight.
About Stuart Pearce, whenever he talks about music, you can the passion just comes through.
Because he's a proper muser.
You know what I mean? He's on the phone there. I can tell he wanted to name all his gigs. I could tell he was going to go on for about 180 bands that he's seen if I'd have let him.
We need to do like a music show on talkSPORT with like you guys and just talk music. It'd be great.
Talk dressing room.
Yeah, dressing. Well,
list.
Gaffer tapes where we go through your favourite tunes.
Yeah.
This is gaffer tapes.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Right. Let's talk about some of the rule changes. There's a campaign to stop players getting booked for taking off their shirt when they celebrate scoring a goal. Does the yellow card for celebrating need to stop, Pards?
I've never been a great fan of booking players for celebrating. Shirt off, I'm not so sure I like that, but I like the fun of the game.
I think basically you should be booked if your shirt comes off if you don't get it back on in a certain time. Because it's only because
it's a Jeopardy moment.
Yeah, it's just like
you go to VAR.
Yeah, he took 7 seconds. It's only supposed to be 5.
He's got to go. Yeah.
One big change is cutting down the wrestling in the box from corners and set pieces. I can't wait.
By the way, I know Wright is behind that campaign, right?
Which one? The shirt?
Right.
Oh, he loved to take his shirt off, didn't he?
Now, not only that, Wright could celebrate. I mean, he would be in my top 5 celebrations.
His celebrations
of goals,
unfortunately, were iconic. And as a Spurs fan in like the 90s and seeing Wright celebrating all the time, he's doing my nutting. But again, he's the most loved Arsenal player, like by most other people. Like people like.
Probably.
Do you remember his show on ITV?
No.
Was it called The Right Stuff? I think, or it was All Right on the Night. I think it was something like that. It was a Friday night. He had like people he had Denzel Washington on and stuff like that. Someone brought it up the other day. It's like epic 90s TV. Well done, Righty.
See what my number 1 person in the dressing room, Ian Wright.
Oh yeah, of course he was.
Yeah. No,
big character.
Brilliant, funny, serious, aggressive, all at the right moments. Playing the right tune at the right moment.
Yeah.
Not always possible.
Right. We've saved the best to last because on this show, we are Bromley fans, aren't we, together, collectively?
Bromley fans.
And we got to doff our cap to Andy Woodman, who made history as Bromley boss as they beat Barnsley 1-0. It was their first ever League One victory. And we set trends on this show because he's been cheating on us. Been on another show, isn't he?
Yeah, I see him do something.
Cheating on us, Wood. Let's now hear from Woody.
We don't want to turn on him.
Who spoke to Shaban and Tony Cascarino on the weekend Sports Breakfast show this morning and gave his reaction to Bromley's historic result on the opening day.
Massive result for us. Going to Barnsley any time of year is, tricky. And as a first game, it's even trickier, I believe. But yeah, the goalkeeper was excellent. You need to go to those places and your goalkeeper to produce. And you need your defenders to put themselves on the line. And they did that. And, as a start of the campaign, you couldn't ask for anything more than a 1-0 victory away from home.
Shaban's not even listening. She's doing a crossword. He's cheating on us for Shaban and Tony.
I don't think Tony was too bothered either. Tony looked like he was looking at the horses. Woody is quite engaging person, hence why he's done so well at Bromley.
Yeah.
A great personality. But he's got a change of ownership at that club. And a couple of players have come in. He's got to be careful there, I would say.
Well, the pressure's on.
Pressure's on. You can never sit comfortably when the ownership changes. I know that from experience.
He's turning the screw now. He's not being on our show and he's cheating on us.
There you go. That's what happens. You start messing about with others.
Listen, you're a final word exclusive, Woody. You stay with us.
Players, when they made eyes at other managers, that weren't it. They weren't playing for me.
Listen, if I hear Parky on Drive tomorrow, I'll be annoyed.
Parky,
we've got to have Parky.
You know, we got exclusive access to Parky. He don't like doing media. You know.
I know
he's at Wrexham. You know, the media club. But you only got to see him act.
No, we are really, really happy for Andy Woodman, Woody, for that historic result for Bromley, who beat Barnsley 1-0 yesterday, the first win in League One. And of course, Tony and Shaban do a great job on the weekend breakfast show. So make sure you tune in to them next weekend. But is Shaban on early breakfast this week as well? Yeah. Yes, Shaban will be on early breakfast and breakfast this week. Do love Shaban. She's the Miss St Albans, as Big Al called her last week. Good to see Alan Brazil back as well, wasn't it?
Great to see him back. I actually did a little bit on their show.
I saw.
On Friday, was it, with Party Parlour? They won't be partying so much now.
No.
Alan has to reel it in.
Well, you can still do it now. You can have a nice water and go play some padel.
No, of course. You know what my new trick is?
What's that?
The 0-0 beer. Because when you play golf, it's nice to have a beer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. You know, it kind of chills you out a little bit. But of course, you've got to drive home.
Yeah.
So that 0-0, that's a brilliant little move. That. So it looks like you're having a beer. Everyone's happy.
I'm allergic to alcohol, so I don't drink it. But I wonder if I had a 0% beer, would I react? Is the alcohol or is it the wheat? I might have to try that.
Well, the Premier League starts next season. We'll get you a 0-0 beer before the start of the show.
We'll see how red I go.
See what happens to
Listen, let's have a scientific experience on the show. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much, Pards. So good to be back.
Are we
on
done?
Sunday evening.
That
Yeah,
can't
we are.
be the end.
It's done.
the end.
It's done.
I thought I got another hour in me.
No. I
I'd like to do that European show.
Let's do the Trans-Europe.
Let's do the real Barcelona.
I'm sure Quizzy Rascal out there, Jack, would love that. Right, thanks for all your calls this evening, and thank you to Pards, and of course our wonderful team behind the glass there. Can't forget our team. The Sports Breakfast Show returns tomorrow from 6 a.m. with Jeff Stennon alongside the returning Super Ali McCoist. But if you need some music in your life, swipe across the Virgin Radio on the talkSPORT app. Don't forget, we are your home for live Premier League football, and it all gets underway, I'm so excited, on Friday as the champions Arsenal take on Frank Lampard's Coventry. Massive game. We'll be back next weekend as the Premier League gets underway, and we'll be taking your calls off the back of Newcastle taking on Liverpool as long as I get home from New York, all right, and there's no delays.
You'll be fine.
But coming up next...
Don't drink any beer.
He's one of the best shows of the network, the Trans-Europe Express, who will be talking about that huge Rodri news. But from me, Imagining Pards...
It's a very good night.
There's a bit of housery about it, and since Cucurella's gone, I kind of like that housery.
Oh no, I think it's a great quality. I think if you're talking about a footballer, strictly on the pitch here, and you use words like, oh, he's snide, he's snarling, he's aggressive. These are good words to use about a footballer. I want players to be like that. I think Chelsea have been a little bit too nice over recent years, and I think having somebody that is a little bit more on the front foot is a good thing. Enzo Fernandez, we've seen it. Like when he scored that goal against Paris Saint-Germain, he's running off towards their ultras, showing them the Club World Cup badge. Whenever we play Manchester United, he's got Mason Mount round the throat. Like he understands what Mason Mount's relationship with Chelsea fans is, and he leans into that. There are qualities to Enzo Fernandez, no doubt, but I 100% want him out of the club, and 100%